Today, I met the love of my life. Her name is Juniper Sumac.
She seemed kind of off to me.
Why would you think that? Tell me.
It's her eyes. They're just so dark. I feel like she was going to eat me or something.
I get that a lot.
Hell really broke the mold. They released her.
And she is everything.
Something's amiss at Juniper's house. Available everywhere this Valentine's Day.
I hate to say it, but his parents have been feeling unwell as of late, and I'm staying with them to help take care of Alex.
Oh, so that's serious.
Oh, no, it's not serious. Nothing terminal. It's just a touch of consumption.
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're opening the Patreon vault, and I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and yes, we are going to be revisiting our Patreon discussion on Scream 6 from, oh god, Joe, when did this come out? 2024?
3, yeah.
What? Oh, it was 2023, oh my god!
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever, although I will say I vividly remember large swaths of this conversation, in part because I wasn't super happy with parts of the killer reveal, but also because we had such a great time speculating where the trilogy capper was going to go, Trace. So in some ways, this episode has aged incredibly poorly.
Yeah, this is going to be a real blast from the past. I do remember the conversations about, I guess I forgot you were a little bit disappointed with this movie, but I will say, with that killer reveal, I do think it plays better on rewatches.
Yeah, you have said that in the intervening years. But folks, I mean, I think the most interesting part of this will probably be what we will and will not ever now see. So we would love to hear your thoughts on our theories and also about, where do you think Scream 7's going to be headed?
Yeah, absolutely. Because all of our predictions in this episode are pretty much, is
wrong.
Moot the right word? Yeah, I mean, they're just wildly off base because we didn't know that, yes, Melissa Barrera wasn't going to be in this movie after being unceremoniously fired and then followed shortly by Jenna Ortega quitting in solidarity afterwards. So,
yes, and honestly, it's something that we're still deeply unhappy about. It's truly like a fucking unfortunate series of events, and Spyglass has a lot of making up to do, but I will say none of that is relevant to the conversation you're about to hear, folks, because we are still riding high on getting another Scream. So I guess maybe, Trace, before we go into it, though, we should tell them where we're going to go on the main feed next, because, of course, folks, you're not going to hear it at the end of the episode.
Yes. All right, everyone. Well, yeah, so next week we're going to be doing a film that I've never seen before. I believe you have, Joe?
I have, yes.
We are going to be talking about Alejandro Amenabar's Thesis, or Thesis for us English speakers out there, a film that we definitely discussed when we covered his The Others a couple years ago.
Yes, indeed. It's a good time. It's a slow burn. It's going to be a fun discussion. But Trace, what about the Patreon? Because, of course, those episodes continue to roll out as well.
Yeah, everyone. So other episodes this month on our Patreon, Hannibal Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2, Whistle, The Strangers Chapter 3, Send Help, an audio commentary on 10 Cloverfield Lane for its 10th anniversary, and, of course, our requel tier coverage as we go episode by episode on Mike Flanagan's The Haunting of Hill House from 2018. And one more perk, Joe, because we should let everyone know we've introduced the concept, or the perk, of ad-free main feed episodes on the Patreon feed.
Yeah, it was a demand that people said they really wanted to see, and we have been happy to acquiesce in that regard. So yeah, folks, if you join the Patreon at the $8 level or higher, you can hear everything ad-free, as well as many, many other episodes. So be sure to sign up at patreon.com/horrorqueers.
Yes, and if you don't live in the States and you don't have an $8 currency, that is the Cougar Town tier or higher.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, I guess without further ado, let's go listen to our episode on Scream 6.
Enjoy the slashing. And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking subways and bodegas. We're talking It Never Works Out for the Dipshit in the Mask. And we're talking Get Your Ghostface Ass Away From Me, Ghostface. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking Who Gives a Fuck About Movies?
Sometimes not this movie, because this killer motivation is interesting.
Oh my god, you're just gonna start it off with that? Like you're look, we can discuss the motive once we get to the motive. And I mean, look, everyone, we're discussing none other than Scream 6 today. And
shocking. How could we have settled on this movie?
Well, I think I certainly had an easy time watching it, but I think you had an easier time watching this than you did Scream 5 last year.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Let me tell you about the 5-minute walk from my house to the movie theater compared to getting on a plane and traveling for 24 hours.
Yes. Have you seen this more than once, Joe? I said when we were recording this these Saturdays, like the day after this movie opens.
I have made an effort to make sure that I have watched this twice. So I went on Thursday for a late screening and I went on a Friday afternoon. Very different experiences. But yeah, I liked the film a little bit more on the second watch, and having the benefit of recording that Scream 5 audio commentary with your husband, as well as Joshua Tonks, it helped me to realize that I'm very critical of these movies the first time I watch them. And then over about the course of a year, I start to settle into what they're actually doing. So I do anticipate my feelings on this will change. But off the top, I liked it.
Yeah, I saw this 3 times. I will be going to see it a 4th time after this recording because
2 days after it's been released.
We have to go see it in 40X so we can be thrashed around on these chairs and have fake blood splashed on us while people get stabbed, which happens a lot in this movie, by the way.
Oh boy, enjoy the sequence where they're going between the buildings on the ladder.
Oh my god, I'm sure there's going to be like a bunch of fans just blowing air on us. Like, look, it's like a New York alleyway, even though apparently from all these New Yorkers, Manhattan doesn't actually have alleys.
Yeah, this is an aggressively Montreal shot movie, and apparently New Yorkers are not at all fooled by that.
Yeah, well, this Texan was absolutely fooled, and I was like, it's fine. But no, I walked out of this movie knowing that I really, really liked it and possibly even loved it, which is not something that I felt walking out of 5. And I didn't dislike 5. I did like 5 when I walked out of it, but I was still kind of like I need to sit with that for a little bit just to see how I feel. I will say a lot of the critiques that I had with 5 were mostly resolved in Scream 6. And the big one is like, oh, we're actually acknowledging the past films and not just the first film.
Right.
The new characters, and of course, with here we have the core 4, felt much more comfortable in their roles. And I really, really felt like they were part of the franchise at this point. Right. I think Melissa Barrera, who I think does fine in the 5th film. I do think she got quite a bit of unnecessary hate, mostly from racists, but I think she owns this movie, and that was not something I really expected walking into it.
Yeah, I will agree with all of that. The core 4 stuff, the character development and progression with our survivors is really good. I think we've settled on a good way to use our legacy characters, although I'll confess I still could have done with a little bit more Kirby and Gale. But yeah, I think the character work is actually the best thing. I realize in hindsight, one of the things that frustrated me in between my first and second watch was I was like, well, hey, Jenna Ortega, where the fuck are all of those chase scenes that you were referencing? Because I kept waiting for like a big set piece. And I realized that I wanted something more sustained that covered a bit more ground.
Right.
And when I saw the film a second time, I was like, no, the good, strong set pieces are good and strong. It's still not I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is what I really hoped we were going to get.
I think the closest we get to that is Gale's scene. But
yeah, it's not my favorite.
Oh, I love Gale's scene. But I will say yes. So after I watched it the first time, my only real big gripe. So I was like, oh, I wish we got to see Gale one more time after her scene. I mean, I get that maybe there's not really a reason for her to come to the ambulance because she's almost dead in the hospital. And I actually thought Kirby was in it enough. I mean, I would obviously always take more of Hayden Panettiere because I think she's really good in this too. I think she's having a lot of fun. But when it comes to the chase scenes, because and we can talk about it more once we get into the nitty gritty of each scene. I think the bodega scene is meant to be our AV room scene. And because you'll notice, they're hiding behind certain aisles, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a fine scene, but it's not super suspenseful.
No.
And the reason for that is because of the way it's shot.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I did see a bunch of reviews crediting the direction as being like more confident and easygoing. And it's like they've got a better sense of how to do this without more or less trying to ape Wes Craven in this one. But yeah, okay. I'm interested to hear more about that when we get to the bodega scene.
Yeah, for sure. Do we want to just jump right into this? We got a 2-hour and 3-minute slasher movie to talk about, Joe.
Oh my God, the longest Scream entry to date, which is not something I would have expected for entry 6.
But I'm curious for you. Did this fly by for you either or both or neither time that you watched this?
It did, yeah. There were a couple points where it feels a little bit shaky in terms of like the transition from one scene to the next. Like, the scene that feels the most sort of superfluous to me is, folks, we're going to reference Scream 2 a lot in this because this movie is doing Scream 2.
It is.
But the park scene to me was like, I get what we're doing. It felt like the most kind of blatant homage, and it didn't have a great payoff because then we go to the Gale set piece, and that's like obviously a much better set piece. So it was just at that moment where I was kind of like, I feel like we should be moving into a climax or something. And it just felt like not a misstep, but kind of I'm checking my watch for a brief moment.
Interesting. And see, I can kind of understand that. But for me, like the interactions that we get between Kirby and Mindy, it kind of makes sense. So that's the thing. And, I think a lot of the stuff in here where it's like, oh, like, is this really necessary? It's like, well, not maybe really, but I like the character interactions we're getting in those moments. So, but yes, this does fly by for me. This does not feel like a 2+ hour movie.
No.
And I'm, as you said, like for the 6th entry in a franchise, it's like Saw 6, Friday the 13th Part 6, Scream 6. I mean, like...
Which one do you like the most?
Okay. Grading on a scale, like, God damn it. They're all so good. I don't know, but oh God, Saw 6 is so good though, isn't it?
Well,
anyway,
for the Saw franchise, yes.
I don't think it's a better movie than this, but I do think it's a really good movie in that franchise. But anyway, so, okay, yes, let's start with, well, this opening scene, Joe, which I've seen a lot of people refer to as one of the best and most subversive opening scenes in the franchise, and I am dying to know why you disagree with that.
Yeah, folks, I'm probably going to be the slight contrarian in this episode because I don't think that this film is necessarily better than 5. I think it's on par with 5, but it has stronger elements in certain places. And I will say that this opening segment is not my favorite. I think that this is arguably the weakest opening since Scream 3. And as much as I love Samara Weaving as Associate Film Studies Professor Laura Marks, I think her stuff is good. The Tony Rovolori stuff it's fine. I know what the film is doing. Like, once you've seen the whole film, it makes a lot of sense, but the payoff isn't here for me. Like, this is just about subverting the expectations, but I don't think it actually is all that great.
I will agree with you. I don't think it's a better opening than 4 or 5. I do think it's, because 3 does have the weakest opening in the franchise to me.
Right.
But I will say, though, as soon as he pulls off his mask, I was like, oh, okay. And I truthfully thought that we were going to have him be our killer and we were just going to follow him for the entire movie. So,
oh, God, no. Can you imagine how bad that would have been?
I know. And so, honestly, when it first happened, I was kind of like, okay. But then it's like, because the phone call bit, we get that, of course, homage to Jason Takes Manhattan. But then even the refrigerator stuff is an homage to Friday Part 2. And so I actually did have a lot of fun with it. I don't think, yes, as I said, I don't think it's better than 4 or 5's opening, but I did enjoy watching it because, again, this was something that was very different and, punctuated with who gives a fuck about movies.
Right. Yeah. It's an amusing kind of killer line to go into our title card. I do want to spend a little bit of time on Samara Weaving because obviously she's got a relationship to Radio Silence. She worked with him on Ready or Not in the same way as Henry Cizerni, as Dr. Stone did. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were excited when she got cast because it was a bit of a dream cast. Like, people thought, wouldn't it be exciting since they're directing this if they would bring back their leading lady from that? And I think Samara Weaving's comedic timing and her vulnerability as this character. Like, basically the whole opening is the equivalent of the Drew Barrymore, Jenna Ortega, where like she's on the phone. It's just her acting with herself. I love her facial expressions, her little like, oh God, what the fuck am I doing with this flirter date? And I was actually really excited for this portion. And then it just kind of ends very abruptly. And I was like, wait, okay, where are we going with this ghost-faced unmasking? So it hooks me, but I was very kind of like, oh, is that the high? And now it's,
Right. So because we basically have an opening that's divided into 2 acts, and
exactly.
You greatly prefer the first act because, and you're right, I think Samara Weaving in maybe 5 minutes of screen time makes this person a character. I mean, even the whole like, what's your favorite scary movie? Not that one.
And she gets to use her actual accent, which is refreshing because it's super cute.
But honestly, what this is to me, this is the movie opening, introducing the character of New York City. Because what happens when we set movies in New York City, Joe? The city's the character.
Yes, of course. I do think it's doing a good job of clarifying, like, oh, we're in a big place that's open. And, you know, it makes sense that we wanted to, establish New York as a character. I think they're playing on our expectations of, okay, so who is this character? How is she going to be important to the overall plot? How will she connect back? I do think all of that works. It's just the biggest issue that I have is that I like this sort of traditional opening of these movies. Like, I enjoy when they play with our expectations there. And this feels like it's a subversion for subversion's sake to unmask the killer and then have the following sequence. But I don't know. Yeah, it's fine.
I think, again, we will talk about Scream 2 a lot because, the Samara Weaving portion feels very much indebted to the Jada Pinkett Smith death. You know, we have someone dying in public, people are around them, no one cares or sees or hears anything. But yes, while I do agree that, okay, I keep wanting to call him Tony Ravioli because that's what my husband calls him.
How dare you? Servant could never.
It is less interesting to me because this character is already less interesting to me because he is what did she call him? Whiny film bros with letterbox accounts instead of personalities. But at the same time, just because I'm like, so much of this film in general, while being very indebted to Scream 2, also feels like a direct reaction to many of the critiques that were lobbied against Scream 5. And even getting to the killer reveal, which I'll just touch on briefly but not go into, it seems like the reason we have 3 killers is because so many people complained about how predictable the killers were in 5. Right. Like, when I saw that in theaters twice, 2 different groups of friends, but in each of them, I had a friend that wrote down on a piece of paper, Richie and Amber, 10 minutes into the movie, or however long it was.
Right.
And they both, and that was a huge thing for them. So I was like, I feel like the 3 killers here is so that at least maybe you'll get 2 of them, but one of them you won't be able to guess.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I definitely agree with you that this opening kill character of Jason and Greg, who we see only in the fridge.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like this is that reaction to the toxic fandom. Of course, we are name dropping Richie, the Jack Quaid character from 5 in this. We're talking about completing his film. We're touching on the Carpenter sisters and how the plan is to kill them next. But yeah, I mean, even just the way that they have set designed this apartment where I feel a little bit bad because you and I both listen to We Hate Movies. I do not care for Last Podcast on the Left, but it was very much like, oh, you know who these dudes are because of these film posters and the podcast posters that they have in their apartment. So you can make up your mind as to, yeah, they are the kind of shit heels in your film studies class where you just want to tell them, okay, we get it, dude. You got it.
Well, even like, oh, she gave me a C- on my Giallo paper. And then later we get the payoff of Mindy, who's like, oh, it's that Chode from our film studies class who's obsessed with Argento.
Oh, and we actually see it because he is wearing a 4 Flies on Velvet in t-shirt in this opening.
But yeah, I mean, again, I agree. It is a mid-tier franchise opening for me. But the funny thing is, though, while, I guess the opening and, like, the general concept of the killer reveal are kind of my least favorite parts of the film, it's also because as a whole, like, I guess looking back at previous films, like when I look at 4, I'm like, okay, like I really like 4 a lot, but what is the thing I love the most? And it's all the Jill Roberts stuff. It's the killers.
Right. Yeah.
Even with Scream 2, like it's the Mrs. Loomis. Like that's what I'm like. There's so many good things about Scream 2, but Mrs. Loomis is like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way about the killers in this movie, but that's also because I feel like I care the most about the main characters in this movie. Or, I'm sorry, it is maybe the first time I've watched a Scream film and been like, oh, I care more about the main characters than I do about the killers and their campiness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and obviously this is a particular issue when we're comparing it to Scream 2, because as we have said repeatedly, this movie is doing Scream 2 for this new trilogy, because I'm already anticipating we're going to have a part 7 after the very solid financial box office of this opening weekend. Yeah. But it's hard when we're talking about Scream 2 because it's your and my favorite entry. And it also, yes, has arguably the best killer of all of these because Laurie Metcalf is just so fucking unhinged. And Jill Roberts is the other one that we both really, really enjoy because she is so over the top. And in this one, it just feels like if we're doing so much of that, then there should have been that level of killer payoff. And we'll get there.
Yeah, because I actually have thoughts because I think Dermot Mulroney is doing a pretty decent Mrs. Loomis, but it's honestly, I think it's because he's a man. Like, I think it's harder to watch, and not harder to watch, that's not what I mean, but like, I think it's, for me personally, a bit on a first watch, it's a bit less fun to watch a man do these things, but I would much rather be watching, say, Leanna Liberato doing these things.
Interesting. I will politely disagree because I think Mickey, given the amount of screen time that Miss Loomis has, is doing something it's very compelling and not unhinged as like a male villain.
Fair. No, totally fair. And we will get there.
Okay, so title card, and now we're into it with our actual characters. So we are reintroduced to Sam Carpenter, played by Melissa Barrera. Hard to agree with you. I don't mind her performance in 5, but she definitely feels more comfortable. And also she doesn't have to deliver mounds of exposition anymore. So I think it's just easier to play Sam in this movie.
Well, I think it's also the scene that works the least for me with her in that 5th film is it's any scene in which she cries. I don't necessarily think she's the best crier. So when she's like telling Tara, oh, my dad's Billy Loomis, it rings a little bit like, okay, like I don't know if I like this very much. And much like Sidney in Scream 2, she is a much stronger character in this film because she's, I mean, she's still dealing with her own Billy hallucination shit, which, whatever. But she is a much more forcible? I don't know how. Formidable. There you go. Thank you. Formidable character in this film, which I think... That's also why I like Scream 2, right? Because Sidney is so much more formidable in that film because she's been through the trauma already. And I feel like it's the same way with Sam in this film.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that we've had the benefits of already introducing this character. So we don't have to spend all of the time being like, this is Sam. You should care about her. This is where she comes from. This is her connection. It's like,
it's not Sidney.
It's new Sidney, as everyone predicted. But it does mean that, like she just gets to react to what happened in the first film. And that is her entire character. Like in my mind, I'm thinking you could die of liver failure if you did a shot every time Sam apologizes in this film.
Yes.
But it is also a much more compelling character arc in film number 2 than film number 1 because we know who Sam is and we're kind of already on board for her journey.
Well, and because, one thing I love that this movie does is that they call out so many fan theories.
Sure.
B, the one of the fan theories that people have always wanted is like, oh, like we need Sidney to be the killer. It's the only way to keep her relevant to keep her coming back in these films. And I'm like, I fucking hate that. But we're kind of getting that with Sam in this trilogy.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because you and I had some pretty extended conversations about what they were trying to do with Sam and the Billy Loomis, Skeet Ulrich visions in number 5. And this pays it off for me in a really satisfying way. Like, did I need to see Skeet Ulrich come back again in this one? Not so much. I don't mind it as much this time, though. I feel like they have a better sense of how much to use him and when to use him. But all of the stuff about her liking how it feels and struggling with it. Like, we had those conversations about whether or not this is where they were going to take the character. And I think they deliver on it really, really well.
Well, and that's the thing, because this film it feels, at least in relation to this very specific character arc, it feels the most like a bridge between the first and third film, because prediction-wise, I feel like we're going to be really dealing with that more specifically, because as the way this movie ends, when she's looking at that mask, I know that like she drops it, because she's like, I'm moving on, but come on, film. Also,
sure, girl.
These girls' parents, at least one of them are going to be coming into the seventh film. They have to be.
Oh, yes. We will touch on where we think this is going to go at the end, but 100% I was like, we need that mom in fucking number 7.
Okay, we're going to do dream casting at the end too, right?
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Anyway, but yes, Henry Czerny in this film. Revenge! Yes, he talks like Jigsaw. I don't know why. He has this like cadence to his voice. I will say that his death scene is the big superfluous scene for me. That's the scene where I'm like, why is this really in here except to get us another kill? But
yeah, I agree. You know, as we mentioned, he worked with Radio Silence on Ready or Not, so I think that's part of the reason why he's in here. You're right. This is basically a nothing character. If anything, this is the exposition dump. This is catching audiences back up on what's happened. It's reestablishing the timeline where a year later, Sam's been in therapy with Dr. Stone for 6 months. And it is more than an exposition dump because we learn that she is the subject of conspiracy theorists. This is an interesting way to move this along. Like, we don't really have technology coming into play too much in this movie. Like, we're not introducing the Find Your Friend app and then doing nothing with it like in 5.
Right.
But this does, I think, help to keep the franchise grounded in a sort of social media reality in a way that makes a lot of sense. And it's very interesting. I don't know that you've read it, but this is an identical plot line to Adam Cesare's Clown in a Cornfield 2, where the survivor literally becomes the object of internet conspiracy and gets blamed for the first film's killings.
I have not read this yet, but yes, friend of the show, Justin Nordell, messaged me that, and I was like, I haven't read Clown in a Cornfield 2. Don't spoil it for me. But, but no, I agree. But, this film has less in the way of commentary than the fifth film does. You know, that film is very much making a commentary on toxic fandom. It's the whole part of the motive. And I think maybe because that's not really part of the motive here outside of just, oh yeah, we started rumors for you, because it's not enough to just like, you know, kill someone. You got to assassinate their character.
Right.
That's kind of maybe the weakest part for me, but I at least like that it's here because, yeah, I mean, it's so much easier to make people believe the worst in someone online because no one can have nuanced discussions in a 240 character tweet on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that's interesting to me as the film moves along is how we don't see Tara or Chad or Mindy suffering from the same kinds of things. And I think in part it's because the film wants us to keep our eyes on Sam, right? Like everything comes back to Sam. All lines converge on Sam, literally including that one poster with the subway lines where all of the lines lead to Sam Carpenter.
Right.
But it was a little bit strange to me that I'm like, well, there's 3 other people. Would they not be implicated in these conspiracy theories? Or would they not be able to speak out against them and say, hey? But of course, I say that as though the internet is not often a bit of a cesspool where it doesn't matter how much you protest, shit just goes out there and causes your life grief.
Well, but we also know that Quinn is the one who started the rumors. So if she, I mean, I will admit that this film does require a lot of suspension of disbelief in certain parts. Sure. Specifically with all these stabbings, but
oh my god.
But it's like, okay, yeah, so she started the rumor, she's the one that's doing all this, and she was focusing on Sam, but like no other troll out there was like, well, what about Mindy? Well, what about Tara? Well, what about Chad?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, this is very much the let's catch up in case anyone walked into Scream 6 and didn't see the 6 in the M and just thought they were watching Scream.
Yeah, the key takeaway from this is that Sam liked the way that it felt to stab Richie 22 times. It felt right. And that is enough to get her on a bit of a watch list because Dr. Stone says, well, now I'm going to have to report that to the police. Sam gets upset and she leaves. And now we're back into New York City proper. Fun fact that this does take place at a fictional university. I mean, technically, we already knew that because we saw Jason walking around the campus of Blackmore. But yeah, so Sam walks home. She does walk by the crime scene, and it's what kind of cues her that I should touch base with Tara and see how she's doing. And Tara doesn't answer because Tara is on her way to a frat party because she is trying to live her fucking life.
Well, She's also trying to ignore her trauma. She's not addressing her trauma in any shape, way, or form.
Oh, for sure. This is called alcohol as
medication, self-medication.
Yeah. It's interesting that I do think the film is trying to make a gentle commentary on the nature of trauma and how different people will cope in different ways. It's a subject that comes up a couple of different times over the course of the film. I think some people wanted them to either hit that harder or maybe not address it, because in some ways the film brings up things like this and then it says, okay, well, we did the thing and now we're going to move on.
Yeah. I didn't really have an issue with any of this, but it's also kind of one of those things where it's like, I mean, what's the time span for this movie? Like 3 days?
It's 3 days. It's always 3 days, right? Tara's like, I'm not going to let 3 days define my life. And I'm like, how about 6 days at the end of this movie?
And I think that's a good reality check for audience members. And also, I mean, not that I'm making an excuse for it, but this is still very much a slasher movie we are watching.
For sure. Yeah, like, hello, we have a character who's literally in therapy and then a character who refuses to go to therapy. Like,
yeah.
You and I have had a number of conversations where it's like, if characters would just talk to someone, a lot of this would go away. And I kind of like that Scream 6 is saying, well, we put our main character in therapy, but also sometimes she just needs to stab the fuck out of a killer to feel something.
But even, I mean, and we'll get to it, but like the scene where they're just, after they name themselves the Core 4 and, you know, Tara's like, no one knows what you're going through. I mean, like that conversation before Quinn's quote unquote death, I really, really appreciated that scene.
Oh, 100%. All the stuff with the Core 4 is A+ in this movie.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the world of Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, a show for those of us who need something a little stronger than counting sheep, who find horror to be a strangely relaxing escape. Here you'll find a myriad of fright-filled tales, from fictional to true stories to high strangeness to guided nightmares, where I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts. Sweet screams.
But yeah, so, I guess we're moving into Quinn's introduction, right?
Correct, yes. So Sam returns home. She has 4 locks on the door, so it's very like Scream 3, where Sidney is just locking herself away from life. And yeah, then we're introduced to slutty/sex positive roommate Quinn. I knew Liana Liberato was from the beach house because I remember making a big deal out of it in our group chat when she was cast. But then I forgot that that's how I knew her. So when I was doing this, I'm like, oh shit, right. Yeah, okay. I like her a lot. I wish we had just a bit more of Quinn because she is fun, but she kind of like flits in and out.
Yeah, so I think that this introductory scene for her is fantastic. I love this character so much. But again, this is kind of her best scene because, she is kind of in and out of the movie. The sex positive clip we get later is fun. I will have more to discuss with her when we get to the killer reveal. But as it's the roommate, which again, I love that we're doing, it's the roommates this time because that was the original plan for Scream 2, maybe kind of, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I really enjoy this character. I think she's a very, very funny character.
Yeah. All the stuff with the never seen boy that she's fucking, who's Paul? Nothing, sweetie.
Sweetie? I don't know.
This is also our introduction to cute neighbor boy, Danny, who of course is played by the other two's Josh Segura. And I really like Danny, but I can't figure out if it's just because I have residual goodwill towards the actor.
Yes, everyone watch the other two on HBO Max. It's fantastic.
So fucking funny.
And Josh Segura is amazing. He also, I don't know if you know this, but he played a big bad in one of the seasons of Arrow. And he is one of the best big bads of that. Because it was after like 2 or 3 seasons of like kind of bad seasons of Arrow. And then his season was this is a return to form.
Okay.
And it's, again, really good. I kind of agree with you. I like the interactions we get with Danny in this movie. I'm honestly glad that he survives because I'm hoping we keep him around for Scream 7.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's again, it's the thing where it's like his introductory scene I think is really good. Like I think he has really good chemistry with Melissa Barrera. But after that he doesn't really get a ton to do in this movie, but it's also by design.
Yeah, he's the Derek of this film, right? Like he's meant to be there as a bit of a red herring. Can we trust him? He's the love interest. We should know better. And it turns out no, he's a good boyfriend who wants to be there for her.
Well, I think it works out because Josh Segarra, well, I think he's a lovably goofy person, but like he does have this kind of like look about him that looks menacing.
And even his line delivery, I can't tell if it's an accent or the way that he says his lines, but he does have a kind of like, it's goofy, but also growly delivery.
But then he smiles and you're kind of like, oh, look, he's a doofus.
Yeah, like he's a lovable doofus. He's so charming. He could easily become a kind of new Dewey in that way, right?
Oh, I kind of like that, actually. I didn't even think about that, but yes, 100%. And I'm sure they'll keep him around, but we'll talk about that later.
One can hope, yeah. So Quinn confirms that, yes, Tara has left. She's gone to a fraternity party at the Omega Kappa Betas. So that's your shout out to Derek's fraternity from Scream 2. They apparently have a chapter here in New York. And Tara went without her taser, which makes Sam angry.
Again, that interaction between her and Quinn, like, and now we've arrived at Mad.
It's funny stuff.
It's really good.
So we cut to the party and we see that Tara has definitely drunk too much because she can barely walk straight. But she is being kept under close watch by Mindy Meeks Martin, played by Jasmine Savoy Brown, and Mindy's new girlfriend, Annika, who is played by Devin Nakota.
I will say, I actually really liked Annika. And again, it's a thing where I'm like, I wish we got more from her. But again,
yes,
we're in a slasher movie. We've got to kill someone off. So it's like, but I do wonder if like in like 5 years, if people are going to like really latch on to Annika, because yeah, it's just one of those random side characters in a movie that just gets a pretty brutal death.
Yeah, she's got a funky hat. She's there for Mindy. They've got this cute thing where they blow kisses to each other while also suggesting the other might be a murderer.
Yeah.
This feels like a good carryover to the flirtatious banter that we saw with Mindy on the couch near the end of Scream 5. Like,
yes.
I think everybody sort of took note that they liked the way that Mindy does this, and they thought, well, let's give her a girlfriend and see what happens in 6.
Well, and so here's the thing. So something that I never really felt this, but I know that a lot of people had issues with Mindy in Scream 5.
Me included, yeah.
Yes, because of the callous way that she refers to some of her friends and be like,
yes.
And I chalk a lot of that up to like, well, she's a teenager, she's a movie fan, she thinks she's invincible, whatever. Like, she doesn't, because when she gives that monologue at the beginning where it's like, oh, like Tara's not dead yet, but it's like, well, yeah, she's not dead. So she's like, nevertheless. Does she work better for you in this film? Does she come across as less callous?
Interestingly enough, no. I think they've actually kept her character sort of the same, but I think because I was used to it those go around, I was just like, well, that's Mindy for you. A bit of a shoulder shake, like, what you gonna do? But I do think even at the end of the film, when she miraculously comes back from the hospital despite being stabbed in the gut, all of the stuff about her being really high on drugs and how she missed the villain monologue again and she's going to get it right next time. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's what I like about this character.
Yeah, although, you know what? I have another big gripe. They clearly plan to go kill Mindy in the hospital because they flat out say that. So why didn't Quinn just kill her on the subway?
Right. Yeah, that was a bit of a confusing. There's a couple of plot logistics that don't entirely add up.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I mean, you can nitpick every single one of these Scream films, but there's a couple of pieces where you just think, yeah, it doesn't entirely make sense that Mindy doesn't just die on the subway.
I will say, though, and this is going to be a blanket statement, that this movie had a lot of goodwill with me because I was having so much fun watching it that even though in these 3 viewings that I had of it, I was like, oh, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Or like, oh, that's not lining up with the timeline very much. Like I was kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, movie, you're still really fun. So I can overlook some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the fact that we're invested in these characters, that we feel like this is a solid continuation of what we saw in 5, goes a long way. Like, if this had been the first film, we might have been a bit more nitpicky.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So also at the party is Mindy's shirtless twin brother, Chad, played by Mason Gooding. We learn that he is actually a member of this fraternity. And he's basically doing some queer baiting with his virginal roommate, Ethan, who is played by Jack Champion. Trace, you would not care about this, but it is wild to me that this is the same guy who plays Spider in Avatar, The Way of Water.
Wait, I'm curious. Why do you think I wouldn't care about that?
Because you don't like Avatar?
Oh, no, that's Andrew. My husband doesn't like Avatar.
Oh.
I mean, I don't have a strong feeling on it, but I did go see that second movie. And it was so funny, though, because when people were like, oh, it's Spider from Avatar. I was like, who? But then I saw the picture and I was like, oh, the kid with dreads.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the problematically haired boy from that one. And of course, folks, if you're like, whoa, he does look very different, it's important to remember that Avatar, The Way of Water finished filming in 2018. So this is a 4-year time difference.
Trust me, I tried to get my husband to go watch Avatar 2 with me and he refused. So I woke up on a fucking Saturday morning, 11 a.m., did a brunch screening of this 3-hour fucking movie. But I liked it, though.
Okay. Well, I apologize for doubting you. I also liked it. I will say it was definitely like that in Top Gun Maverick, where people say, this is the reason we have big screen theatrical films. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And then I go to see them and kind of agreed, because those films are legitimately great when you've got the surround sound and the giant IMAX.
That's what I kept telling Ari. I was like, okay, I know you don't really care about it, but like, you got to see it in a theater. Like, come on.
Yeah, like it's a movie that's not that great narratively. So if you're going to ever watch it, you should definitely watch it when at least you can appreciate the visuals.
Exactly. But whatever. I guess my tiny 4K TV is going to have to just do it for. He'll never watch it.
He'll never watch it.
I like this character too, actually. I will say, okay, because he doesn't really have a lot to do until the killer reveal. Although I would argue maybe even then he doesn't have a ton to do after the killer reveal.
He's definitely the weakest of the new characters, where you're either like, oh, he's a body count or he's a killer. I think he's probably one of the ones that people called fairly easily.
Yes, although I will confess, he was one I didn't guess out of the 3 killers, because I did guess Lyanna Liberato, because as soon as someone quote unquote dies off screen,
it's a red fucking flag for audiences every time.
And then because I knew that Dermot Mulroney was her dad, I was like, well, shit. But again, I didn't care because I was having so much fun. And again, like I said earlier, it's a movie where I was like, everything going on with the main characters, it's just unfortunately a Scream movie where I like all of that more than I like the stuff going on with the killers, which normally it's reversed for me when I watch these movies.
I mean, yes and no. You say that, but like you like Sidney and Gale and a slightly stepped down Dewey as much as anybody else. So
no,
I think you like the killer reveals. I don't necessarily think that that's the main reason that you go to a Scream film.
That's true. I guess because this killer reveal is weaker than most of the other ones in the franchise, I'm latching on to like, oh, but this does the new characters so much better than 5 for me. But
yeah, you know what? I would agree with that as well. I think the other thing is that we're all like coming to this so fresh, right? Like we've all just seen it. And the big thing with a Scream film is that it's a whodunit. So the reveal is a big part of that first, maybe second watch. Yeah. The reality is that when we know who the killers are, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So the character work actually becomes more important in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do think this one will stand the test of time better than 5 did. Although I would be interested to see if this retroactively improves my opinion of 5 a little bit. And again, I still really like 5. I just have a couple issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, whereas I'm forecasting ahead and thinking, okay, so when we inevitably get part 7, I'm interested to see how this plays as a trilogy.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, so yes, this is our reintroduction to Chad and introduction to Ethan, and Chad ends up getting called in to protect Tara from going upstairs with date rape Frankie, who was played by Andre Anthony, and I think all of this stuff is really good, right? It's, we're watching out for Tara, Sam shows up, she's got this fucking baller line where she's like, I'm just gonna tase you in the balls real quick, this dude goes down.
Easter egg, though, the guy does ask Tara if she's going to rush Omega Beta Zeta.
Correct, yes. And folks, if you don't get that reference, that is the sorority that Cece, the Sarah Michelle Gellar character, was a member of.
Yeah, I love all of this too. And again, this chunk of the movie is the quote unquote slowest part, because I feel like this movie is pretty good about having like attack after attack after attack after attack. And this is like where we're slowing down after that opening to just like reacquainted with our characters. But I'm so into everything. I love the dynamic between Tara and Sam in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We very quickly learn, like, this is the first time we've seen the sisters interact, and Tara is frankly pissed, and she is exhausted by her sister. Like, Sam basically will not leave her alone. She's checking in on her all the time. She's there while Tara is in university with Chad and Mindy. And it's unclear exactly what Sam is doing. Tara makes an offhanded mention that she's working 2 shitty jobs, but she basically has no life plan. Her plan is to protect Tara. And that is, like, I really appreciate this line of dialogue as they're, like, confronting each other in the park, because it's not just telling us where the 2 characters are at, but also, you know, it's kind of playing around with this idea of how do you move on after something horrific has happened in your life? Like, Sam literally cannot let it go, and she is living in the past, as Tara accuses her, whereas Tara refuses to acknowledge the past and only wants to live in the future, and neither one of those are sustainable options.
Not at all, but that's where that line you came in that you mentioned earlier, which is like, I won't let the thing that happened to us for 3 days affect the rest of my life. And I think that's a really important, like, reality check for audiences to be like, because, like, you know, we're like, oh, we've seen this movie's our life, and even it feels like it's been like forever, but for these characters it's been 3 days of their entire life.
Right. For me, this is also a really good payoff / justification for having Kirby come back in this film, because we get to do all of that rich stuff. Like, she's not Gail, where she's writing a book and getting famous off of it. She's actually saying, you know, I needed to find a way to move on from this and be a productive member of society. In this case, it just so happens to be that she becomes an FBI agent.
Oh, yeah.
So Sam also gets assaulted on camera by a conspiracy theorist. And this to me was just like, oh, shit, I bet that stuff happens all the time to people who are involved in, like, true crime cases.
God, I know. It sounds horrible. I mean, especially in, like, New York City, when I guess everyone's really plugged into the news and things like that. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, but it sucks.
Yeah, so people are only plugged into the news in New York City.
But again, I do love Ethan's. I have some tissues. I have 3 tissues for you.
This was my red herring radar going off, where I was just like, okay, he was giving kind of fuck eyes to Tara a moment ago, and now he's giving weird kind of like fuck eyes to Sam here. So I was like, he's either going to try to sleep with one of them, or he is the killer, because he seems to be keeping tabs on both sisters.
I just, again, the movie was going so hard at Mindy thinking he was the killer. That's why I was like, there's no fucking way he's the killer.
I mean, the funny thing is I feel like this movie has a smaller cast, so there were only a few legitimate suspects.
Well, and that's the thing, though, because there are 3 killers. In hindsight, you're like, oh, wow, like the suspect list was very small for this movie.
Yeah, I just finished watching multiple seasons of The Traitors, which is like a reality TV show, but it's basically a group of people playing the equivalency of werewolf, where within the group are people who are actively trying to murder the other so that they can take home a cash prize. And it's fun to then watch a Scream film and be like, oh yeah, the killer is somewhere within the group, but there's so many of them in Scream films that you could basically like spin and point and you will probably get a killer.
I mean, even the poster where it's like, okay, well, everyone on the bottom half of the poster is much smaller in size than everyone else. So they're either going to be bodies or they're going to be the killer.
Right. Yeah. This is how you know that we're just like ridiculous fans, because all we do is speculate and think about like, oh, who could it be and how and why? Oh, that picture is slightly smaller. That must mean something.
That's the thing, though. And that's why, like, I don't even necessarily think I'm going to get the same feeling I had when watching the end of Scream 1 or the end of Scream 2 or even the end of Scream 4, because it's not even just slasher movie formula or rules we're following here, right? It is the Scream formula, the Scream rules. And so because my brain is so primed to be like, okay, like, what does Scream do? What's the opposite going to be? I don't think I'm ever going to be as surprised by a killer reveal as I was, like, the last time was Scream 4 with Jill.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, we speculated when we were talking about 5 if they would find ways to shake up the formula. And I think in this film, I don't want to say the sad reality, because I don't think the film is a failure by any means, but they try to talk a big game about franchise rules. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It amounts to literally nothing. It has no bearing or impact on this film. The only subversive moment in this movie is that opening where we actually see a killer unmasked and then they themselves get killed. Like, that's the only true surprise in this film to me.
Yeah, I mean, because Minnie has that whole thing about like, legacy characters can die. So I guess it would have made more sense if either Kirby or Gale died, but whatever.
Yeah. It isn't what happened. So that's all we can say.
But maybe that's the subversion.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm being very generous.
Also, maybe. Okay, so we go back to the apartment and Quinn drops this little nugget where she talks about how overprotective her father, who is a detective, Wayne Bailey, who eventually will be played by Dermot Mulroney, he became very overprotective of her after her brother's death. So,
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I mean, like, they make it very clear to say, oh, in a car accident. So we're trying to throw you off the scent, but it's also like, why does this keep getting mentioned, right? Like, she talks about it. Detective Bailey talks about it a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So it's very much the film wants you to remember that there is a dead brother in the mix.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then we've got this moment with Tara and Chad in the bedroom, which hints at a new romantic direction for the two characters before Quinn cock blocks them. Stop saying cock.
I think Tara and Chad have really good... Mason Gooding really won me over in this movie. I think he is incredibly charming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm on the record. I've talked about him in multiple different projects. I've always loved Mason Gooding. Does it hurt that he is fucking hot as shit? No, it does not hurt. But he also knows how to play that. Like, Chad is very much a character who knows that he's hot. Like, he's introduced shirtless in this movie, and it is great. But he also has this vulnerability to him. Like, the film shoots him in close-ups a lot in his conversations with Tara, and he's so, like, visually attentive to what she's saying. He's got this slight little kind of curl in his mouth. I think Mason Gooding is an incredibly good actor, and he's a great fit for this franchise.
But, he's a Nepo baby, so I hate him now.
How soon until we can drive a stake through that? Actually, you know what? Scream 7, tackle the Nepo baby shit. Let's do that.
Oh my God, I would love that. Because here's the thing, everyone's a Nepo baby. That's just how it works. I'm sorry. Like, families in the industry, that's just how it happens. Like,
You should see how Trace's dogs react. They are the ultimate Nepo dogs.
Anyway, so yes, I like the romance we get between Tara and Chad, even though it was not present at all in the, I guess because he was dating Liv.
Yeah, this is a brand new development for this movie because I don't even know if these characters really interacted in that first film.
Not a ton.
Not really.
Oh yeah, because Tara was in the hospital the whole fucking time.
Yeah, like they never interacted with just the two of them.
Oh, that is bizarre to think, but whatever. They get it here.
There we go. Yeah. We also learn that Sam is secretly fucking Danny, the cute neighbor boy. And again, also good chemistry, as you noted earlier.
Oh, yeah. I can't help but notice that you're covered in cherry Coke. I think it's Diet Cherry Coke. It's like, oh, you too. Go fuck already.
I like his line that his kink is women who are ashamed to be seen with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fun, playful banter. It feels very authentic to people who are like in early stages of a relationship.
Yes. And this is stuff, again, it's normal for the Scream franchise. But again, when you pull it back, you're like, oh, I'm watching a slasher movie. This is the things you see normally in slasher films. Like, but much like Quinn, this is his best scene where he gets to like show off his comedic chops and his chemistry with Barrera because every time after this, it's always kind of in moments of panic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the film knows that each character needs a scene like this so that we actually give a shit about them because we're not going to give them a ton later on.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no time to. I get it. I mean, well, I'm sorry. There probably is time in this 2 hour and 3 minute movie, but given how they choose to use that time, there's not really space for it.
Yeah, I mean, I made a joke earlier that it feels like this is a small cast because there's so many killers, but at the end of the day, we're actually trying to balance quite a number of characters.
Oh, yeah.
And many of them survive. This movie has a survival rate of 7, highest of any Scream film.
That's the thing. I think before the killer reveal, the last person to die is
It's Brooks. That would be Gail's boyfriend.
Oh, right. But he's not a character.
Nope.
Annika? Is Annika the last one to die?
Maybe.
God, well, we'll talk about it as we go through the plot. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so Sam is called upstairs because there is breaking news. Jason and Greg's murder is now being reported, and Sam flips the fuck out. She immediately wants to flee the city, take Tara out of university, which does not sit well given the confrontation they had earlier. And this is when they resort to saying, Quinn, call your dad, give us an update. And he tells Sam she's going to need to come in because we as viewers are seeing, oh, not only has there been a Ghostface mask left at the scene of the crime, but Sam's driver's license.
And yeah, Dermot Mulroney, man. What are we? Let's say before the killer reveal, what do we think of him in this movie?
Okay. It's a shit thing to think, but all I could do was think of him in Copycat and note how much older he looks.
Oh, Joe. I mean, he does look older because it is, 30 years ago?
Maybe. Yes, it has been quite some time, but I think it's more, I haven't seen him in something in quite some time, and I was a little bit shocked, like, oh, okay, yeah, you are demonstrably older, which obviously makes sense. That's typically what happens to people, but more specifically men, because they are less often inclined to get cosmetic surgery because we hold men to a different beauty standards. Climbing down off the soapbox. I think he's okay. He's definitely giving Detective Mark Kincaid from Scream 3 vibes.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Except he's not like a horror movie genius like Mark Kincaid is, because the fuck.
My life.
Randy was gone, so we needed to have someone else who was a movie buff who just happened to be the lead detective in the investigation.
Woof, woof, woof.
Yeah, he is fine. He doesn't make much of an impression before the killer reveal, just because it's, again, he's a cop. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, dude, do your job. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky, right? I think 5 had the advantage of having Deputy/Sheriff Judy, and that was a character we already knew and liked, and she had quirk and personality. And Bailey is very much just, he's a cop.
Gruff.
Like, that's who he is. This part could have almost been played by anybody, which I think is, again, a little bit of a, oh, well, he's probably the killer because we bothered to cast someone like Dermot Mulroney in this role.
Yeah. I will confess that's not why I suspected him. The only reason I suspected him is because of Quinn's quote-unquote death, where I was like, well, if she's the killer, he's probably the killer.
That's wild. Okay. I mean, if you think about it, Mindy actually did get everybody right except Quinn.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Well, and because the movie seems to really think it pulls the rug out from under us with her attack.
Well, there is that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sisters decide they're going to go in and speak to Detective Bailey together because now Tara wants to hang out and be a part of this. So this is when we get our first Ghostface call, and we notice that the call is coming from Richie's phone number. So that immediately is like, okay, we got the Richie reference when we were talking about Jason and Greg getting killed, and now all of a sudden Richie's phone number is calling Sam.
Yep. Again, I love how Scream movies are always about, the past, connecting things to the past, whatever. I love, those are some of my favorite Easter eggs. And this isn't really even an Easter egg, it's a vital part of the plot. But again, I just love how much we are actually referencing the previous films in the franchise.
It's connective tissue, right? It's very much saying you need to have paid attention, because I can imagine if somebody walks into this movie and says, I'm just here to see a slasher movie, why is it significant that it's Richie's phone? Like, there is a very funny moment where Annika tells Ethan, like, pay attention, keep up, new guy. And you're very much like, oh, that's for the audience members who just walked into this movie and haven't watched the last 5.
Yes.
Which is a bit of a dick move for a movie to say, but here we are.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sorry. Like, literally, like, it's the 6th movie. I'm sorry. Like, do your homework.
Oh, what else are you doing?
Living your life. That doesn't revolve around the Scream franchise.
God damn it. Get in with the franchise. Get in with the fandom. We're all toxic over here.
Right immediately, because this is Barrera's first phone call with Ghostface, and she is very much like,
she's on the attack.
Yes, I love it. I love this side of this character.
Which is also great because then Ghostface just immediately attacks. Like, we're not doing a playful phone call bit. This is like, hey, I'm actually trying to distract you with this phone call because I'm attacking you in the middle of the street. It's very Sheriff Judy dying in broad daylight in number 5. Like, the killer is so brazen in this film. We are attacking in public spaces all the time.
And this is also where we get our first real chase scene of the film. And you can argue because, all they do is run around the corner into the bodega. But, okay, so what I was saying about this scene. So, hey, how do we feel about Ghostface using a shotgun?
Don't care.
Yeah,
like, I think it's fine. People freaking out about it, I was like, who gives a fuck?
I was the exact same way. Also, this is a very brutal gun. This is the most violent film in the franchise, I think.
Oh, my God, by far.
I really appreciate it. But here's the thing. So while I do think that they are trying to do the AV room scene in this, there's 2 major factors as to why it doesn't really match. I think the scene is totally fine. I think it's an interesting scene. Okay. But I don't get that rush that I was getting during Gale's chase scene.
No, not at all.
Part of it is the score. I do think the score is not as strong as any of the scores in those first 3 movies. You know, when Gale's running in the hall, it's like the... I can't do it.
It's fine. I got it.
But also, it's the camera work when she gets into that room, and we are keeping it in a single shot as she's moving between the soundproof walls. There isn't the creativity of that in the way that this scene is shot. So I would have even taken an overhead shot of like seeing where Ghostface was in relation to them as we watch them kind of maneuver around the aisles. Or again, do like a single shot where we're kind of moving and showing the geography of this bodega.
Right.
You could maybe argue that the space is so small, we don't need that.
Yeah.
But it does kind of remove the, oh shit, how close are they? How close are they? And so that's kind of my thoughts on this as to why it's not as effective, but I do think that's what they were going for in this scene.
That is interesting. I hadn't even considered it until you raised it, but I do agree with you. I think that's probably the scene they're trying to evoke the most. It kills me. This scene should be exciting. I think the most exciting part is where we go into the bodega and there's other people there and they just start getting murdered. Like, that was when I felt my pulse jump a little bit. And then as soon as we get rid of the attendant with the shotgun, which P.S., this movie is brutal, but we're not even seeing a speck of blood from this, which I thought was very unusual.
Well, we see it because he's like, no, and he gets shot in the face. But yeah, we don't see like his head blow up, but we do see his blood splatter on the glass behind him. Yeah, I mean, yes, but it's not. Yeah, it's
tame compared to some of the things that we're going to see later on. So I just thought it was a bit unusual, but I guess we're reserving the special effects to characters we actually know the names of.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I think maybe what would have made this more successful is if there was a death scene in this, and so if it wasn't just Tara and Sam, if there was another, like, if Annika died here, you know.
Right, like we needed another sort of disposable friend that we could have just offed here to get the stakes going.
Yeah.
I think that this is fine. Like, Gillette and Bettinelli Olpin, I think they get a little playful using the, I never know if it's convex or concave mirror that, you know, all of these like convenience store bodegas have so that we can see whether people are shoplifting. I like being able to see Ghostface moving in that, but that's as playful as it gets. And I do agree with you. I think the space is so small that it almost becomes impossible to suspend your disbelief that Ghostface wouldn't have just like strutted down one of these aisles, found them and shot them.
That is the thing, actually. Now that you mentioned the mirror, if we had even used that more to see where Ghostface was in relation to Tara and Sam, or even the security camera behind the desk, you know?
Yeah.
This scene is banking off of the new location, like the New York City bodega setting, to be like, oh, look how fun and different this is, which it is.
It is.
I just wish, again, like, there were more tricks used to amp up the suspense and establish geography in the space.
Yeah, like we can have a more fulsome conversation when we get to the latter sequence, but I think that is far more excitingly filmed.
Oh, yes, and I will also say Gale sequence, but we can fight about that later.
Agreed, yeah. The other note that I have here is that this movie was apparently sponsored by Coors Beer because we saw Danny carrying in a 24-pack when he and Sam make out in the lobby. And also the entire freezer section behind the girls is nothing but Coors products. And the bottle that Sam throws is a Coors beer.
Can.
It's like, okay, we get it. Product placement.
I didn't even notice. I'm so bad at noticing product placement. Unless it's like one of those things in younger where it's like, are those Dove chocolates? I need a Dove chocolate right now to add a product placement.
Yeah, Tara just turns to Sam, throw the Coors beer.
After they get out of the scene, I need a drink.
I need a drink. Ooh, how about ice cold Coors?
She like holds it up to the camera and looks at the audience.
Wink. Okay, so after narrowly escaping, the Carpenter sisters proceed as planned. They go to the police station, and this is when they get quizzed by Bailey about, all right, where were you? Do you have alibis? We get a lot of cheeky responses from both Barrera as well as Ortega, and this to me was like, look at how well they've settled into these roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tara, do you know anyone who have something against you? Not anyone who's still alive. Even Mulroney's reaction. Well.
I mean, it's pretty brazen to say something like that in front of a police officer, but also like, dude, think about what these girls have been through.
I actually even like, though, because again, once you know that he's Richie's father, like watching Mulroney's reactions to some of the things she's saying, like he's hiding it really well, but it's kind of like a good, like, haha, you stupid fucker.
So also on the scene is FBI agent Kirby Reed, Hayden Panettiere. She's got this frankly giant wig that she's rocking. And I think it's important that they remind us once again that Sam knows people from Woodsboro, because they established that Kirby was a senior when Sam was a freshman. And, they have this shared, as we said, connective tissue, right? Like these characters have a life outside of just the 3 days that we see within the movies. That's also kind of a timeline thing for me. So if she was a freshman in high school, she would have been 14 turning 15, which means by the time this happened, she'd already found out Billy Loomis was her father and was on her drug bender. Because I think she said it happened when she was 13. Yikes. Okay. Okay, so what do we think about Miss Panettiere? Regardless, we'll discuss like Kirby's role in the film, but like as Kirby, how does Panettiere slip back into these shoes? I'll confess, I wish I had have had time to go back and revisit 4. I find her a little stiff. But I think if your husband in particular was here, he would gently remind me that characters age between films. So it's been a long time since we've last seen Kirby. She is a completely different person as a 30-year-old FBI agent. I like Panettiere a lot. I've liked a lot of her projects. I will say, and again, this is me sort of climbing back onto that feminist soapbox. I think that Panettiere has had some plastic surgery, because I found that her face was actually a little inexpressive at times. She seems to be talking out of the side of her mouth, and I found that she wasn't giving the same face as the Kirby that I remember. But like, these are little minor critiques that overall I was just like, it's really nice to have Kirby back. Yeah, I did with her. I'll make a comment about her face and then I'll move on. But I do think that she's maybe had like some Botox. I don't think she's had like work done. To me, it just looks like Botox that she's been doing steadily over the past decade. Right. But because there was an interview because she took an acting hiatus to work on her family life, her mental health, and all that. Yeah, and she hasn't acted in I think 5 years by the time this film comes out. And I even saw a quote from her where she was like, I honestly was scared. I was wondering if I could even act again. Like, not because like, oh, like, was she capable of doing it? But like, was she still going to be a good actress as she was, 12 years ago? Right. I don't agree with you that she came across as very stiff. I actually did really, really like this. This felt like Kirby, but 12 years older in this movie to me. Okay. And maybe a part of it's the way that she's written, but I really lived for everything Kirby was giving me in this movie. I thought Hayden was very good, slipped right back into this role. And while, yes, I would have loved more of her, and yes, did I actually think for a split second that she was the killer at the end of this movie? And maybe I'll feel differently in a couple months when I've had the time for this film to settle in, but oh man, having Kirby gone for so long and having her back, everything she was doing worked for me here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like her more in other scenes later on as a sort of reintroduction. I was just taking it all in, and maybe on repeat viewings, I won't feel the same way about this first couple of scenes. But yeah, the reintroduction felt just a smidge rocky. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I will say I did binge 1 through 5 in a day. Oh, like 3 days before I went to go see 6, because my husband had a friend who literally, this is a quote from her, just got into movies. Wow, that's exciting. So she didn't know anything about these movies. And so we got to show like marathon 10 hours of these movies to this girl who had never had no idea what she was getting into. That is wild. Can you imagine getting to go back and watch all these movies for the first time again?
Oh, I know. And also watch 1 through 5 for the first time in the span of a day and then get to go see 6 3 days later. Like, I'm jealous.
I mean, that is high stakes. Like, some of us have been watching these things for like 25 years and having to wait 10 years between movies.
Exactly. But no, so but having recently rewatched 4, to me, there wasn't much of a difference between the characters here. And maybe she's more expressive in 4, but she's also a teenager in 4.
Right. Yeah. She's a seasoned professional in law enforcement at this point.
Kind of.
Okay, she's a zygote.
I feel like I do find it interesting that she doesn't have like a team. I know we don't need a team, but like it's just her.
Right. I took this to mean that she had maybe gotten special permission to leave the Atlanta office because it's like, oh, Ghostface attacks are your thing. Go and check this out because we know that you've got a vested interest in this. But I gathered that it was a kind of, okay, we'll hold your cases so you can go and check in on this, but then you need to come back.
Yeah, but she also gets a van that can trace phone calls.
Well, there is that too.
I want to see her driving from Atlanta to New York City in this van.
Maybe she borrowed it from the local New York field office.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that's what it is.
Okay. So, Kirby's like, hey, we should work together on this because we actually have a relationship. I remember you. We're both survivors of this. And Sam is like, goodbye. I'm leaving. And they say, no, you're not, because you're a person of interest, so you're going to stay around.
And this is when we learn, too, that the killer's leaving the masks of previous Ghostface killers, counting down from 5 down to 1.
Yes.
And I love Kirby showing off her scar that Charlie gave her, which will come into play later again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mentioning Charlie more than we've mentioned in multiple films.
Yeah.
Okay, so outside the station, it is morning. We have a scrum of reporters who are waiting for them. Naturally, this includes one, Gale Weathers, played by Courtney Cox.
Wait, did you notice also the music cue whenever they walk out of the police station is the exact same one that Sidney has when she walks out of the college room in Scream 2? And the reporters are hounding her?
I did not, but I am not surprised to note that.
Yeah. But yes, I'm sorry. Gale's return.
I was too busy focusing on the dodging of punches and Tara getting in a good one after Gale says, I've done this dance before.
Like, Gale Weathers has 3, maybe 4 scenes in this movie, but I think the payoff for this punch is fantastic. But what do we think about the character choice to have Gale write another book about the events of Scream 5?
Yeah, so again, we're making reference to Scream 2, not just in the music cue that you mentioned, but also Sam's comments about Gale's decision to write this book and how she is described, very similar to Dewey's complaints when he confronts Gale at Windsor College. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a dick move, and everything that Sam and Tara accuse her of, kind of valid.
It is. My gripe with this is more so, okay, wait, so she wrote a book about the events of Scream 5 and wrote about Richie and didn't find out that he had a cop father and 2 siblings?
Yeah, I've definitely seen people point to the fact that Bailey and Quinn and Ethan were able to hide their identity or separate themselves from Richie as the kind of most ridiculous thing. If we're thinking about Scream 2 comparisons and Mrs. Loomis being able to disguise herself as Debbie Salt, people do change their names. They get makeovers. You should try it 60 pounds later.
And I think the fact that Bailey is a cop, clearly a high-ranking cop, makes it a bit more believable. But then when you have Gale being like, yeah, I found this shrine because I'm a great reporter, it's like, okay, but you didn't find Richie's father.
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen people start to comment on the fact that, like, oh, well, that's why Gale can find it and Kirby can't, because Bailey just flipped the ownership lease over to Jason and Greg, and that's why it, like, wasn't there for Kirby to find. It was there for Gale, so her gloating is actually kind of like, well, because the killer wanted you to find this spot.
Yeah.
I think you could go either way with Detective Bailey. In some regards, it'd be like, how would a high-ranking police officer be able to change their name? But yeah, you could also say like, oh, well, they go into the system and they change their name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just movie magic. There you go.
Sure.
A cop made it happen.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, again, if you want to zero in on this as, oh, this is a criticism, this doesn't make any sense, the whole movie falls apart, you're going to have a lot of trouble with most horror films.
Yes. I think that's the thing. I think it's hard. It's easy to forget sometimes that this is, again, quote unquote, just another slasher film. And not to say that provides it like armor from critiques or criticisms, but like it's also because we are getting much more, what do I want to say, like quote unquote like legitimate movie parts in this film, when slashers of the 80s didn't give us those things because they were just focused on moving from kill to kill to kill to kill.
That, and I think that people have so much invested, like the nostalgia is such a real thing for the franchise that in some ways we're willing to overlook the discrepancies that we wouldn't be as generous with in other films. But also then people can say like, well, these films are often more deliberately and carefully crafted, so why can't they do a better job of filling in the plot holes?
Yeah, exactly. But whatever.
It's neither here nor there. It's not what we got, so.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 4th quarterly meeting of the Mayfair Town Hall. Let's get right into it, shall we? The first item on today's agenda concerns the unusual number of missing persons posters we've been seeing lately. Obviously, nothing wrong with putting up a poster for a missing loved one, but we've been getting some complaints about bogus phone numbers and posters for people who are not missing. A couple of you have even said you've seen your own names and faces on one.
Want to hear more? Then tune into Mayfair Watchers Society, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
But I love this punch, though, right? Like,
the punch is great.
The dodge is great. Yeah, so good. So good.
And we haven't really talked too much about Jenna Ortega, but like when she gets these kinds of zinger lines, I actually think that she's still stronger in terms of her delivery than Melissa Barrera, but she arguably doesn't have to sell that kind of like emotional component quite as much. But comedically, I think that Ortega is really good.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, because I think everyone walked into this movie ready to be like, yeah, Jenna Ortega. And I think Jenna Ortega is really good in this movie. I just think that Barrera impressed me more.
Right.
Maybe because it's such, for me, an improvement over her performance in 5, whereas I know that Jenna Ortega can act really well because I've seen Scream 5 and I've seen other things that she's been in.
Yeah. I mean, Barrera had more ground to potentially make up, or she had an easier job to say, like, well, if you didn't like her in this one, she's doing better in part 6.
I will say, after watching it the second time I went home and I watched a bunch of Barrera's scenes from In the Heights, because I when I saw In the Heights, I didn't know who Melissa Barrera was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun to go back and watch her because, God, that girl can sing.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, she's got some random upcoming movie with Paul Mescal where she, like, gets to dance, and I'm like, fuck, she dances too? Okay.
Oh, is that the Carmen remake?
Yes, it is.
Okay, have you seen it? Because it played at TIFF.
Oh, no, I have not. I just saw a trailer.
I saw I want to see it so bad. Like
Soon.
Yep.
Okay, so Trace, let's get into the controversy. One of the things that Gail drops before we end this scene is that Sidney is okay. She has taken Mark and the kids and they have gone into hiding. This is the one, and well, it's not the only reference because the killer mentions Sidney as well, but this is basically our opportunity to talk about Neve Campbell not returning for this film.
Yes. So, okay, let's say story-wise first before we get into the actual like Neve Campbell part of it. So, I think this movie works fine without Sidney. I don't even know how you would put Sidney in this movie without making it feel like it was shoehorned in.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? You can go back and read the comments that everyone in the production made initially when it came out that she wasn't going to come back because of a pay dispute. She wanted more than they were willing to offer. There's remarks that suggest that she was a crucial part of this film. Filming was delayed 3 days when she said she wasn't coming back for it. So part of me was like, there's some kind of discontinuity here. Like, I don't know where Sidney would have been a main character in this. I feel like she would have had a similar size role to Gail. Like, she would have, flown in. I wondered if maybe she would have had Gail's attack scene instead of Gail. That was the only sort of thing I could think of they might swap them.
I don't know. Honestly, like, again, watching the final product, and yeah, you're right. They delayed filming by 3 days, so I'm like, okay, well, it couldn't have been that difficult to get rid of her stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's why they also weren't supportive of giving her more money, because I think it was a glorified cameo.
That's what I thought too. And look, everyone, so we can talk about the actual ethics.
Yeah, let's talk about outside of the film.
So here's the thing. Yes. Should she have gotten more money?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Always.
But do I also believe that they didn't think that the screen time that she would have had would have been worth that much money, and therefore that this movie didn't need her presence? Yes, I do think that as well. So I think it's really good for her to stick to her guns in this. And, you know, but the thing that's kind of muddying the waters for me is that she did say, like, I feel like if I were a man, they would have given me the money that I asked for. And
here's the thing. Quite possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not even trying to say, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm not even saying that at all. But I think that given what happened, I think I'm glad she stuck to her guns. I'm glad she's not in this movie. And I think that, again, I don't know what's going to happen with 7, but like my hope, because I don't think that these radio silence guys are bad. I don't think they were like, fuck you, Nev Campbell, fuck you, Sidney Prescott, like whatever. They're also not the ones making the budgetary decisions.
Well, and I think that's the big thing. Like, people wanted to say, oh, well, fuck this movie and all the people making it. It's not their decision as to who gets paid what. Like, that is a like studio decision. So it's not these directors. That was a suit decision. So I think if you want to blame anybody, you probably should be blaming Paramount because they decided they didn't want to cough up the dough.
Well, and like, are you telling me that you don't think Courtney Cox didn't call Nev Campbell to be like, hey, you want to talk about this? Like, I fully believe that these conversations happened. And so I do think it's a bit more nuanced than just, oh, she wanted more money and they didn't give it to her. Like, there are a lot of factors that go in this decision-making process. And I made a really glib tweet a couple days ago that was like, oh, so all of you that said you were going to boycott this movie, you're going to boycott it, right? Like, you're going to stick to your word. And
God, you're such a shit disturber.
It wasn't me trying to mock people that I understand wanting to boycott it. If you feel that strongly about this with Nev Campbell, by all means. My issue was, I don't think any of those people are actually boycotting this movie.
Well, it's very easy to say things on the internet.
Exactly. And then that means that you were only saying that for social media clout. So I have no issue with the boycott, but if you said you're going to boycott it because of your principles and your morals about this pay gap, you need to stick to those principles.
Okay, Daddy Trace, coming down hard.
But that's why I didn't say I was going to boycott it, because I knew I wasn't going to boycott it.
I mean, here's the thing. Like I was never in favor of a boycott because I was trying to be realistic. I support Nev Campbell, but also I always knew I was going to go and see a Scream film because I'm a huge junkie for this franchise. I don't think that it needs to be like one or the other. I would say, though, what we're now in a danger of is the studio, aka the people who are holding the purse strings, looking at opening weekend grosses, which are going to be the highest for any entry, and saying, well, I guess we never needed to pay her that much money. We don't need to give her a good, fair deal if we're trying to bring Sidney back for number 7. So I think if people do feel strongly about it, we need to advocate to say, pay Nev what she's owed. We want to see her in 7, but also you got to cough up that dough.
Well, and so that's my hope, is that they were kind of like, because I imagine they already have an outline or at least an idea of what 7 is going to be about. So I would hope that when they were making this decision, they were like, you know what? It's not worth it this time for us to pay her this much money, but it will be worth it next time. But at the same time, Gail's, I mean, I call it a throwaway line because it is kind of a throwaway line. But when she's like, Sid deserves her happy ending, I'm kind of like, you know what?
That could also be the out.
Well, and that's because, okay, honestly, before that thing happened with Nev Campbell and her pay, so many people were like, even in 5, they were like, her presence is mostly superfluous. Like, she can be out of this franchise. And it seemed to be, it was only after that stuff with her pay came out that then people were like, well, fuck you. Like, we want Sidney in this franchise. I was like, well, weren't all of you just saying like 3 months ago, it's her time to be done?
It is really complicated, right? I mean, I think we're conflating the actress and the character as well. Like, people who enjoy the Scream films, people who have grown up with them, as we said, nostalgia is a huge bitch when it comes to like how we approach and talk about this particular franchise. And the reality is we simultaneously want Sidney to be in every film because we love her, and she's definitely one of the most badass final girls ever put on screen. But at the same time, it's hard not to deny the fact that it's like every time you bring her back, we have to deal with a bunch of people who are either wanting her to be the killer or wanting to see her die. And then there's the rest of us who are just like, we love this character. I don't want either one of those things to happen, but you have to keep putting her through the ringer every time you bring her back. Like, part of me thinks, I would love to see Sidney come back. I would love to see Nev Campbell just get showered in money for this role. But also, I would be happy if we just say Sidney is living her perfect life with her adorable husband and kids and say, that character doesn't need to be here because now we have Sam and Tara and the mates.
And that's where I was going to, because honestly, what this film did more than anything is make me truly feel like this franchise has moved on to a new cast of characters that I genuinely like and care about.
Mm-hmm. We literally gave them a self-imposed nickname and then we cemented it.
And Gail's presence here makes sense. And again, I'm going, again, just story-wise, while I would love to have known what Sidney's role was in the original version of the screenplay, I am fine with this movie the way it is.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, after all of that, we do get this quick Dr. Stone murder. If you didn't think that the film was being a little bit gory enough, if you didn't like the bodega shooting, let's get a knife through the nose.
Do we know, I mean, this is a nitpicky thing, but like, what is the purpose of this outside of just giving us another body? Because they steal her notes, but again, what's the point of that?
This feels like a dropped plot thread from maybe another version of the script where something in Sam's file was going to come into play, like provide insight into how to manipulate her or get her to do something, or frame her. Like, I can only assume that they were going to use some detail to frame her further.
Yeah, that would make sense. But so honestly, it has more in line with Scream 2 because it's like the dropped copycat plot thread.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so we get Red Right Hand playing first of 2 times in this movie. And we go through the franchise roles because that's what we're in. We're not a sequel to the requel. We are in a franchise. And I've seen some people say like, oh, it only took them 6 entries to realize that they're in a franchise. Fuck off. But also, this, to me, is the scene where it's like, oh, in every screen film, we always need to do this. This is very on par with 3, where we're just saying a bunch of gibberish and none of it actually matters.
I'm inclined to agree. However, I find all of this deeply entertaining.
It is fun. Like, I love Chad's scaredness over beheadings. And it pays off later, which is amazing. Obviously, we have the opportunity to cast suspicion on our new characters and then flip it around and pay off the idea that Sam could be the killer. All of that stuff I think is important. I just don't think we needed to label it like the rules of the franchise because, yeah, it just really feels like they didn't have enough to hang a hat on with this. And the examples, again, are just, they're not good.
It's that franchise requel reboot thing because all of the well, I say almost all of the people she mentions that die in their franchises are from like reboot quels,
right?
Except for Nancy Thompson, which is Nightmare 3.
Did
Laurie
you just
Strode.
say reboot quels?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love that. That's canonical now.
No, it's I don't know. I guess the requel rules felt more relevant in the 100%. Fifth one.
Yeah. This feels like it's a year later, we didn't really have something new. And also, that's really not the story that we're telling.
I wonder if she would have called it something else besides a franchise. Because, yes, this has been a franchise since the 3rd film. So, nevertheless, I love it. Because this is also one of the last times we'll see all of these characters interact together, too.
For sure. Yeah. And it's fun to watch them all interplay. We do get a little bit of background, like, Ethan, we learn, has won the roommate lottery. That's how he ended up with Chad. And Quinn apparently answered an anonymous ad to room with Tara and Sam. And I think both of those things are important for both red herrings as well as killer reveals, ultimately. But it's the kind of stuff where it's like, this needs to come out at some point. This is where it logically makes sense.
Well, and that's the thing, too, in this kind of a movie where, like, the characters have to theorize and speculate as much as the audience is, which is why most of the like what actually happens at the end of the movie, like the reveals, were already theorized by the characters at some point in the film, like Ethan being the killer, like Quinn, like, you know, answering the ad for on purpose.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we move back to the station where Bailey and Kirby look back over the 9 murders because, of course, we're still tracking these masks and they are counting down to 1.
Did you love the Roman Bridger, only solo Ghostface, kudos for ambition?
I did like that line. That to me was very, oh, there's Kirby. That's the girl I know. I think it's also important that we get a red herring for Kirby here where she says, forget about the movies don't matter. So it naturally makes you want to think about, oh, fuck the movies that Ghostface said at the opening.
Oh, well, that's the other thing too, right? So, like, to our knowledge, a Stab movie hasn't been made since Rian Johnson's Stab 8 because Gale couldn't sell the book rights to. Well,
which, P.S., random. That is such a random note to make it this movie.
Well, I was like, well, why didn't she sell it as a limited series true crime thing then? Like, that seems fine.
Yeah, that was the sort of most meta that this movie gets too, right? Like, it's weird that we don't try to dip our toe more into that true crimeness because she's not wrong. That's where a lot of the money is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we come to, I think, my favorite set of sequences in this film because it's all about the characters and it's funny, it's rich, it's also advancing the plot. Like, I just really enjoy this next section of the film. So everyone decides that they're going to stay over at the apartment because there's safety in numbers. This is where the core four comes out, and the responses from Sam and Tara and Mindy refusing to give him like the high five and telling him to get it out of their face. So funny, just really enjoyable stuff.
Even like when Tara and Chad are flirting and Mindy's like, blech, just make out already.
Like, you could definitely see some people saying, ugh, we're just hitting pause so that we can do more of this character stuff. Like, where's the action? Where's the kills? Okay, this is vital to the success of this film and our investment of these characters moving forward.
And the choice, hey, let's all hole up in the same apartment together because that's the safest thing we can do. Hello, smart decision.
It is, yeah. These characters are not making incredibly stupid decisions like a lot of conventional slasher films.
But yeah, no, all of this, like, I mean, because this is the last breather before we really enter, like, hyper mode for the rest of the film. And I love watching these characters hang out. Like, I love these characters now.
Yeah. So we get a great moment between Tara and Sam when Sam gets upset because she's now been named the prime suspect in these murders, to which I was like, that is a leaky police station that they are just able to learn this.
Well, but see, though, couldn't you think that Dermot Mulroney's the one doing it?
100%.
Yeah.
And then, we do get the accepting of the nickname at the dinner table over wine. And this is where Sam admits that she's been sleeping with Danny and everyone already knew. And that's another great moment.
Okay, so here's where my next gripe is. So the entire concept of Quinn's death. But the thing is this. When Danny is watching her, so we have her on the bed talking to her father. While the ghost face, who must be Ethan, is standing behind her. And she's talking to her dad and she's like talking about, it's something that both of them would already know, like talking about Sam and what they're doing and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, who are you putting on this show for? Unless you're thinking that maybe they can hear you outside your room.
Which we've already established they can.
Yeah, but when she's making sex noises.
I mean, I would say that this is definitely some method acting from Quinn. I don't think she's talking to her father because we know that Ethan is actually at Econ. That's his alibi, and he had hundreds of people. So technically, her dad is Ghostface. So she's not talking to anybody. This is just acting.
Okay. Well, but I will buy it into, she's assuming that they can hear her outside. But also, I love, because do you think that the dad killed her nameless boyfriend, or do you think she did? Because I think she did.
I guess it depends on how long that body has been there. I would have default assumed that it would be the ghost face.
I think it's a shared bathroom too. So
it is, because they have multiple entranceways. It was very like, oh, this is a legitimate kind of like collegiate apartment situation.
I mean, truthfully though, I still think that for New York, even with 3 of them paying rent, I think this is an enormous apartment.
It's massive. It's so fictional. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have been in a New York apartment, and let me tell you, it's a closet.
Yeah. And I have been in Montreal apartments, and let me tell you, it looks like this.
That's amazing.
So Danny does observe this. He tries to warn Sam, but she can't hear him. This is very Olivia with Jill in number 4, right?
Yeah. But it's okay. They're having such a good time talking. They can't pay attention to the crazy man that's waving at them across the hall.
I mean, to me was maybe the most New York thing where you're just like, oh, if I hear shouting, I just default assume it doesn't affect me because I just hear it all the time.
Exactly.
My question was, how the fuck does Danny have all of their numbers? Because they get a group text with this picture of Quinn getting attacked.
That's Yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It's fine.
But yeah, so this has been, I mean, again, I love this because we think they're safe. Oops, nope. Ghostface is already in there and he has quote unquote killed Quinn.
Yeah, and we're chucking the body. Mindy gets her arm sliced. We've got Annika getting stabbed in the gut. Sam realizes that all of the knives have been taken out of the kitchen, so they can't even defend themselves. I did really enjoy that touch because it casts all of the suspicion back on who had access to her apartment. We already knew it was somebody within this friend group because her license has gone missing, but they really made sure that they would be able to get at least one or two people out of this.
I also love the resourcefulness she has where she just picks up the knife block and just uses it.
100%. Yeah. Ghostface is taking so many hits to the head. I was just like, how does Detective Bailey not have a massive bruises?
Oh, I mean, like, look, the Scream movies have always had this issue. Sure. This one is definitely the most egregious in that department. But again, it's kind of like, whatever. It's so fun.
We move on.
I have a harder time believing that Annika survives this knife wound. That not only she gets stabbed in the stomach,
yes,
it gets pulled up, and then it gets twisted. Where you actually see her skin wrapping around this blade. Like,
it is gross.
I'm sorry, girl. You are dead.
She's 100% dead. I actually thought what was going to happen. So, yes, Danny ends up providing them with refuge. He's got a ladder. There have been jokes about how does he have a ladder that can reach that distance in a small New York apartment? Again, who cares? But
I'm sorry. Are there a lot of ladder connoisseurs out there on social media?
I think it was more just like, it almost would have been helpful if they had said he was the super. So he would have had like a ladder kicking around in case he needed to do building repair work or something.
Maybe they'll just retcon that in the seventh one. Be like, yeah, remember when we met when you were the super at my building?
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, this is great stuff. This leads into arguably one of two of the best sequences in this film, which is the move across the ladder in the open air, multiple, I think it's like 3 or 4 stories up.
Yeah. And this is the kind of tension that I was hoping for from this film. That again, I like the bodega scene, but this is like leaps and bounds above that for me.
Yeah, I've seen people reference this as equivalent to Sid and Hallie having to crawl over Ghostface in the car from Scream 2.
Yeah. I think it's probably the closest we can get. Honestly, yeah, I think this is probably the most suspenseful set piece in the franchise since that scene.
Tell words, tell orders.
I mean, look, I think this is someone who, like, Gail's barn scene in 4 is also very suspenseful for me. But that's
the
more
stakes are so low for you. The bar is so low.
It's more so because I was genuinely afraid Gail was going to die in that bar scene.
Sure. I do think that that's kind of one of my challenges with this is that it's the kind of set piece where we automatically know that whoever goes over it last is going to be the one to die. And also, the thing I was maybe hoping to see is that not that Ghostface would come in and shake Annika off, which is what happens, but rather that her guts would just fall out and she wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Because Tony Ravioli gets his intestines popping out in that opening scene. So
we know we've got intestines on set.
I mean, honestly, her intestines should have been pulled out with that knife after he twisted it in her stomach.
I mean, if we're complaining about the gore when she eventually falls and hits her head on this garbage bin, it is rough.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's so funny. What this scene reminds me of the most is more so out of something like a disaster film from the 70s, like the Poseidon Adventure, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, again, 70s disaster films, 70s and 90s disaster films are like my bread and butter. And so this was just a really fun thing. But I agree with you. Yeah, as soon as it's like, oh, well, Annika's going across last, which also, why? Why isn't Mindy going across last?
Well, because Annika says, no, you go, I'll be right behind you. And you're just like, oh, that's the second worst statement to make in a horror film after I'll be right back.
Honestly, that should be incorporated in the rules.
Right? So one other thing to note about this scene, I think that this is maybe the best directed set piece of this film because we are getting those overhead shots. And if you're afraid of heights, this will make your palms sweat because they do a really effective job of showing you just how high up and how breezy it is.
And how rickety this ladder is. Because this is a flimsy ass ladder.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, most ladders are. Like, they're meant to be stood upright, not sideways.
I think they're meant for this exact purpose.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Especially in New York, right?
Yeah, exactly. To put across buildings. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. But this is a great sequence. I think it's really good, especially feeding into like that calm before the storm that was so character driven. And then we get this sustained set piece. It is exciting, even if you recognize that the outcome is relatively predictable.
Yeah, this is more of a, as you said, you say it's the best directed scene in the film. It's more so, yeah, you're kind of like appreciating the craft at this scene more so than the plot mechanics of it, of getting Annika dead.
Yeah. One other thing is this is the first confirmed queer character to die in the franchise.
Ooh, shit. And person of color.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not the first person of color, but she is a person of color.
She is also that, yes.
I don't know this actress, actually, but I really liked what she had in her limited screen time in this film.
Yeah, full agreement. I liked her a lot, which is, I think, that means she did a good job because she didn't have a ton of screen time to work with, but it was still like, oh, no, not Annika.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so we move into our day 3, and in the morning, we see that Ethan arrives at the crime scene. He's got this bullshit econ alibi. Mindy is not fooled by this. She puts him at the top of her list.
Yep. And honestly, this is one of my favorite running gags in the film.
Just the way she looks at him, it's very amusing.
When she's texting at the subway, she's like, with Ethan, a.k.a. Ghostface.
Yeah. So we also see that a grief-stricken Detective Bailey has been removed from the case, and this is another mention of, oh, now I've lost both of my kids, so just in case you forgot, there's a dead son in the mix.
Yeah.
And then Kirby arrives, and also Gale has this vital piece of intel. So they all decide to accompany her, even though Detective Bailey is no longer technically on the case. But they go to a high-security abandoned movie theater that is also a shrine to the entire franchise.
Oh my god. So, look, this is for the fans, but holy shit. Like, were you not trying to clock as many things as you could?
Yeah, the first time I was just kind of overwhelmed, and then the second watch, I was trying to identify as much as I possibly could. And it is deep. Like, we are talking not just costumes, not just weapons. We've got drawings that detail how each of these characters died. Some of them are like deep cuts, like the hat that Kenny wore in Scream 1.
Oh yeah, his top story jacket is in there. The cross that Derek was hanged on is on the left side of the wall in the shrine.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Oh yeah, Tatum's outfit. Oh, one of my favorite beats is actually Kirby looking at Jill's outfit. Love that. Yeah, I mean this is just the only thing that doesn't fully ring. Well, I don't know, maybe because Gale has presumably already been here.
Okay.
And she has like that moment looking at Dewey stuff. And I was like, wouldn't she have already done that the first time she came to the room? But maybe it's still affecting her on a second watch.
Either that or she kind of saw what was there and then she left so that she could go and grab them.
Yeah, no, this is all great. And like, I mean, like, what a treasure trove. I mean, like, the same blade that killed Drew Barrymore is in this shrine. Like, what the hell?
I appreciated that the film knew that we were going to have questions about how they would have collected all of this. We get that question literally stated, and Gale says, oh, somebody paid off the police because they're a little bit corrupt, which is amusing because this movie has been made, you know, after a wave of ACAB calls and that kind of stuff. But also it again sort of gently points the finger back towards Kirby and or Detective Bailey.
Yes. One other random shrine thing that I liked is the noose in the Principal Hembry display, because we forget that they hanged his body over the football field.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that fun ADR.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, no, this is kind of great. Like this is a fan's wet dream of a set piece.
Yeah, I love the fact that we spend a little bit of time here and then we leave it as though we won't come back here for the climax. Like, You are not fooling us, Scream 6.
But Kirby, at least, is it Kirby or is it Mindy that says, like, in a regular stab film, this would be the killer's lair? Then Kirby says, that means this isn't a regular stab film. It's like, yes, Kirby. Yes,
correct.
That's what that means.
Yeah, that was a bit of a throwaway thing where I just thought, okay, we've already said this isn't a regular film. Why do we need another character to reiterate it?
But, okay, it's only like a 30-second bit, but I do love the interaction we get between Kirby and Mindy. And then we follow it up with an interaction between Kirby and Tara. Like, this is where, again, I'm like, oh, good. Like, I like that we're getting these conversations.
Yeah, no, I like all of that stuff. The Kirby and Mindy stuff where they bond over their horror cred, great scene for both of those actors. You know, we get some clarity about Sam's mom. So to me, that is the Easter egg for 7. Like, we're again talking about her mom. Yep. Where is she? Oh, she's cut them off. I'm just like, God damn, I need that actor in the mix in the next entry.
Don't worry, I got 2 pieces of casting wishes for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is also the scene where Kirby talks about wanting to make the monsters afraid of her. It's a very Clarice Starling kind of line. Yeah. So, okay.
I will say, even going back to Gail's conversation with Sam about her mom, like, it's even just having Sam be like, what happens when the one person that loved you, like, you don't have that person anymore? And she's like, you know, you keep going. You find another, shouldn't say stray, but something along those lines. And, you know, you make a family on your own. I was like, oh, this is really sweet.
It's really good. Yeah. I like the fact that it's not overly saccharine. Like, you know, we just saw Gail looking at Dewey's glass display. So it's pretty fucking obvious, but it's not like, oh, Dewey. Like, it leaves the audience to do that.
Well, because the second that Sam asks what happens when you lose that person, that's when Dewey's theme kicks in on the score. Yeah.
The one and only time they use it judiciously. Yep.
But it's good. It good. Works because that to me is a prime example of how music can carry emotion, because that music is tied to that character and Scream 2 specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, he might as well, like, carry a boombox when we see him in 5 that just plays the theme. So one other element that we have not talked about before we leave this space, Sam does see her dad in the display case, and he tells her that she should get ready to get the murder on because we are going to slice up more motherfuckers.
I will say I thought we were done with this. It bothers me less here, if only because it's already been established in the 5th film.
Yeah.
I also think that the de-aging effects on Ulrich look better, if only because he's a reflection in a piece of glass and not a reflection in a mirror.
Okay, I guess.
It's small thing, but...
I felt like they were making less effort to make him come off like 20 years old. So he looks a little bit more Skeet Ulrich as he does on Riverdale, say. It didn't bother me, but I agree. I also thought we were kind of done with this. It mostly works in this, though, because it's only 2 brief sequences.
Right.
And it very much feels like we're acknowledging that Sam is on meds, but we haven't seen her take the meds in a couple of days because she's been overwhelmed with all this shit. So I think the movie did a better job of saying this is what she reverts back to if she isn't on medication.
Yeah, because when they're talking about the medication in that first therapy scene, she says, like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen anyone I'm not supposed to lately.
Yeah. And when she first sees him here, she's like, oh, fuck, not now.
Oh, yeah. Some of her reactions to this kind of stuff, I love.
She's very exasperated.
Very much. Oh, yeah. When she's at a bullet to the end, she's just like, fuck. Good for you, Barrera. But yeah, no. It works. As you said, it's used judiciously. I still think it's a little too silly even for this franchise, but... it's fine. It is what it is. We've kind of established it. And honestly, given her arc, I would expect we'll get more of it in the 7th film.
Yeah, I think the fact that we see it here means that we're not quite done with it, even though, yes, the film obviously ends making us believe that she has moved on from it. But
yeah,
I think not.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so Detective Bailey has a plan, and this is another kind of like plot thing where Kirby says, "Sorry, Gale, no press allowed." And it's very obviously a narrative construct to isolate Gale so that we can give her her own chase sequence.
Yeah, but I don't care.
It just felt clunky. I was like, is there not another way we could have done this? Because I also don't buy for a second that Kirby would try to pull some sort of authoritarian rank. Like, we had the tete-a-tete where they were joking with each other about who's better at their job, but that was funny and more character-based. And here I'm just like, okay, I guess. And then when you see where it goes, it just feels like, oh, this is our excuse. This is how we isolate Gale.
Yeah. It feels more mechanical than organic.
Mm-hmm. So then we do our Scream 2 park homage. We get the funny bit between Mindy and Kirby about tracking. And then we go to Gale's.
Hayden Panettie's reaction when she's like, "That's how Uncle Randy died." And she just goes, huh.
Also, as if Kirby wouldn't already know that.
I know.
A funny moment for both Barrera as well as Ortega when they steal Detective Bailey's cruiser they make these jokes about using the sirens. Great.
Yeah. Love it. Also, though, like, it's really easy to steal that cop car.
Right? So we move to Gale's gorgeous apartment. This is apartment porn, but I guess she would probably be, maybe not a millionaire because she is living in New York, but like she very clearly has a lot of money.
I mean, she wrote that book.
She wrote multiple books.
That's what I want to look at next time we're in the Shrine, because all those books, I didn't realize all of them are hers.
Yeah. I was trying to clock the names, but they were kind of uninspired.
Yeah, they didn't look good. Oh,
no.
Wait, other random things. So, you know, the tagline for Stab is "This is gonna hurt."
Yeah.
Did you catch the tagline for Stab 2?
What is it?
"This is gonna hurt, ... more."
Oh, fuck. And then Richie and Amber got mad because part 8 uses a flamethrower. Like, I don't think the Stab franchise was very good, folks.
I mean, okay, but to be fair, that the tagline for Scream was to someone's taking their love of scary movies one step too far, and then the second one is someone's taking their love of sequels one step too far.
Right. I was never very inspired by that tagline.
It's fine. But okay, so yes, this is Gale's first and so far only phone call in the Scream franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the IMDb was very exuberant about this, and I was like, it's literally a line in the film.
Yeah, which I love that they call that out, which is also really funny considering... I guess maybe Gale wrote one of her books. I never received a phone call, but like it's not the same Ghostface.
I know. Like, why are we pretending as though they act? You know, because even Ghostface makes this argument on the phone with her, like, "Oh, Sidney wouldn't have been a very good killer because she was too beloved."
I love that.
Like, it's good stuff, but you're just like, stop pretending like you've been involved in these murders before. This is your murder spree. That was other people's murder spree.
That's the movie. That's the meta. Because I saw people say, "Oh, this movie's less meta than the others." I was like, no. It's less meta that it doesn't reference other movies as much. Mm-hmm. It is equally meta in how much it is responding to fandom. Even in the year since 5 came out, we are responding to things that have been floated about online in that time.
I think you could also just make the argument that it is aware of its own history, though.
Oh, yeah, entirely possible. So, okay. What is not working for you in this scene?
It's not that it doesn't work. Well, okay, there's one thing that doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I do not believe for a second that Gale would be here mostly alone. She has this boyfriend who just dies unceremoniously. It's like, Jesus. We're talking about dead meat earlier with Jason in the opening scene, and I was like, that's who this boyfriend is. He is just meat to be killed.
I mean, I truthfully don't even know why he's in this scene, except, to give us their body.
Just need a body. Yeah.
I do love Gale's reaction though when Ghostface is like, "Oh, all those muscles didn't help, huh?" Nope,
Guess
they
not.
Sure didn't.
It's a little glib, Gale. I guess he was not the one. But no, my only real complaint, legitimate complaint about this is I do not believe for a second that Gale Weathers, who has survived 5 of these encounters, would have a gun in a locked safe.
Oh, I do, because to me that's gun safety 101. You would have that
gun on the fucking counter because Ghostface could come at you at any point.
No, oh my God, Joe, never buy a gun.
I'm not suggesting real world. I'm suggesting the Gale that I know, she would be ready.
Yeah, I guess maybe not generally, but at this point in time when murders have been happening, yes, she should.
Yeah, like I'm not suggesting she just has it out on the counter when guests come over. Look at my Glock. Have some tea.
I think I would have more of an issue with that if the fact that the gun was in the lockbox actually like caused a problem for her in this scene. When all it is it's causing like a suspenseful like 10-second moment where she can't unlock the box. But like she doesn't get hurt because she can't unlock this gun box. If that happened, I would have more of a problem with it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. And the satisfying thing is that when she does actually get her hands on this gun, she is smart about it. Like, she doesn't fall for the bullshit when Ghostface tries to... I love the, oh, you got me, I'm in the elevator.
Oh, I love
It's just like, bitch, who do you think you're fooling? Like, Quinn, you need to do better, baby.
And I know maybe we don't call this a chase scene because it's just in her apartment.
Yes.
But one of my favorite things are close calls, and we get so many close calls with the swipes of the knife in this scene. Like when she makes it to the door, runs to the balcony, she's doing the Sarah Michelle Gellar thing, like throwing fucking plants at him.
Yeah.
Even like after he comes out and he stabs her in the shoulder, I think everything's very near the heart when he stabs people in the chest in this movie.
This is true.
Hello, and welcome to the world of Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, a show for those of us who need something a little stronger than counting sheep, who find horror to be a strangely relaxing escape. Here you'll find a myriad of fright-filled tales, from fictional to true stories to high strangeness to guided nightmares, where I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts. Sweet screams.
But like, yeah, it's she's like around the column, like he's swiping at her. She's doing these like jumps back. Oh, when she falls on the floor and he is like stabbing at the floor to get to her, hoping to get her foot. Oh, living for all of this.
I do like all of that. Yeah, I think part of it was just I didn't want it to be restricted just to the apartment. Like,
right.
I did think specifically when she goes out onto the balcony, I thought we were going to go a little bit broader in scope.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, for some reason, I never felt a true sense of peril. Like, in other movies when Gail has been attacked, I've legitimately thought that she could die, and under no circumstances here did I think she was actually going to die.
Oh, see, I'm the exact opposite. Like, both me and my husband, we were like, it was the barn scene all over again.
Okay.
And to the point, so when she does get stabbed with the shard of glass, with the music kicks in a little bit that sounds eerily similar to the music when Dewey gets stabbed in Scream 2.
It's a very deliberate sound cue.
Yes.
Like, we are very much making you think, oh, and now we're taking out Gail just like we did with Dewey last film.
But then what made me think, I was like, oh, fuck, she is dead, is the tell Sid he didn't get me. And she says it again, but I was like, fuck, she's gone. And they drag out the time it takes for that paramedic to be like, I've got a weak pulse.
It is a pregnant pause if there ever was one. I want to talk about that line, though.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean? Because if she is dying here, like if we truly are meant to believe this is Gail's last gasp, he fucking did get her. So what is she talking about?
Well, to me, it's more so like he wasn't there to watch her die. Like, he did stab her, but like she survived long enough. Like, it wasn't like he didn't kill her right then and there. I get what you're saying. My favorite phrase, it doesn't really bother me because it's just like it feels so like such a moment. No, it feels like
you get one of those. That's it. You've used up your one.
This is my one. That's totally. But you know what? I am fine using it as currency for a Gale Weathers scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it felt like an unusual thing, and I needed some clarification. Like, I made a very deliberate note of it because it seemed like such a weird thing to say if you were dying. But yeah, I guess it was just, you know what? I don't believe that he got me. Like, I refuse to say that I died as a result of this person.
Well, because even if she did hypothetically die later in the hospital, it still it takes away the satisfaction of like killing her in the moment, if that makes any kind of sense.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Like, people found her before she died, whereas most victims are just dead.
Yeah, like they are gone. Which, with all of these movies, I'm kind of... Because even when they attack Sam and Tara, I'm like, well, were you trying to kill them there? Because it seems like you were, but then you don't get your big reveal at the end of the movie, so what are you trying to do here?
Yeah, you're just trying to scare them, you're trying to play around, fuck with them a little bit. Maybe.
But, I mean, like, we can say that with the first movie, too, when Ghostface first attacks Sidney in her house, and he's, on top of her, about to stab her, but then she kicks him off. It's like, well, was he going to stab her? Like, what was the plan there?
Yeah, I've actually often read it in these movies when they go after Sidney in particular. It seems like if we could get her, we'll go for it. But if not, I've got a whole Oscar monologue ready to go.
I think, but they're all such narcissists. I feel like they would want to give the monologue no matter what. So they're just like fucking with her in these scenes.
It's very funny. They're very Trace Thurman in that way, right? Like, I want you to know why I'm killing you before I kill you. And it just never works because the dipshits never win.
No, because of their narcissism.
So true. I will say my favorite part of this entire sequence is very similar to what happened with Sidney on the phone in 5 that we are using for our intro clip for this year. But Gail saying, "Can you hold, please?" And Quinn as Ghostface just being like, "What?"
Oh, okay. I will say, so even though my audience on my third viewing wasn't as responsive as my audience on the other 2 viewings, that bit, always gets a laugh from the entire theater.
Yeah, it was funny. In my most responsive audience, they were all over Ortega's line deliveries. Like "I'm sorry I punched you. No, you're not. No,
I like that too, yeah. But I wonder, though, that's... Because do you think you had a generally younger audience in your crowds? I think
I had a lot of Wednesday viewers, if that's what you're suggesting.
So yeah, I imagine, yes. There probably were a bunch of Wednesday fans in that audience.
There we go. So Sam and Tara do end up saving her life because they arrive, they grab the gun, they shoot at Ghostface, who bails, and yeah, we find out that Gail has a weak pulse, but she'll survive because in the Scream universe, if you can make it to the hospital, you're gold.
Yep, and Gail is no longer in this movie. She leaves the film.
Yep, she's done. So we do go to the hospital to wait. This is when Danny returns, and it's interesting because I feel like in a more conventional horror / slasher film, we would have excised this scene. But there's this moment where Mindy and Chad both talk about how they don't want to get hurt anymore. And they kind of like Chad leans on Mindy's shoulder. It's a really nice little intimate moment, but I'm almost surprised that they kept it.
Yeah. But you know what? It's fine. Little moments. I will treasure those nuggets in a film like this.
And then, of course, we have Sam doing her usual Sam thing where she says, maybe this is the time he wins and I'm going to give myself up to him. And we're all just like, Sam, shut the
bitch,
fuck
come
up.
On.
Which is more or less what Tara says. And she's like, how about you let us protect you this time?
Yeah, so let's call the other killer and tell him we're going to execute Ghostface.
Exactly. Yeah. So we execute the final game plan. We're going to use the shrine as a kill box, which I was like, okay, folks, let's stop using this weird. It felt very much like, are we in an Amazon Prime action film for my dad right now? Like, get him into the kill box and execute him.
I just like the term kill box. It
just so weird to me. Yeah. Okay, so Detective Bailey advises them to travel collectively to avoid another attack. So we decide we're going to use the subway. When you know who the killers are, you're just like, oh, wow, they really got them. Because Bailey says, travel this way. And then it allows Ethan to pick Mindy off and make sure she gets on a separate train.
Yes, and of course that's where we have Quinn as the killer here. So general idea though, but what I love about the subway scene is that we have all these people in masks, some of them in Ghostface masks. But
oh, because we've not said it. This is Halloween. It's the weekend of Halloween.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes, I forgot. Even saying that, I forgot that was the thing. But I love in one of the earlier news. I think it's maybe the one after they say that Sam's the prime suspect or something. But they're like.
Sales of the Ghostface masks have skyrocketed around the tri-state area.
And they're like, do you have your mask? I have mine. And I was like, should you as the media really be promoting something like this?
No. You're just like, oh, these New York media is so callous about death.
That's actually what I think is really interesting, because this movie could have taken a more interesting, like, if we're going to do commentary, do it on something like true crime, especially in the wake of the, well, I guess it would be too late, but like in the wake of like the Dahmer show from earlier this year or late last year. I wonder if that's something that they would dive more into in the 7th one, because that to me is like where some of this is like the films have always dabbled in that conversation, but never really talked about it as much. And now that in the real world, people are really taking a moral high ground on true crime, I think it'd be really interesting to discuss.
I fully agree. I would love that because I do feel like it's a very contemporary piece. Like we're having a lot of conversations about it, but it's also not something that's going away. And you can talk like a whole, like, what are the true crime rules in terms of we've been having these conversations since like basically the Manson murders, right? Yeah, absolutely. And again, like even for Scream 2, where it's like, we're making a movie about these real life murders like 2 years after they happened. No, you shithead. This is a real story. It happened a couple years ago.
Some kids got butchered a couple years in California.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. This subway scene. My only gripe is I don't know why they don't kill Mindy if they're going to go ahead and kill her later. But that being said, I still think this is very effective.
So this is my favorite sequence in the film. And I appreciated it even more on a second watch. The first time I was kind of like, okay, it's a little bit predictable because, as soon as we get onto this crowded subway, we see all these people in mass. There's 3 Ghostface in each of the subway cars, which some people have speculated is like, hey, there's going to be 3 killers.
Okay.
But I just... I talked about the sort of high wire ladder sequence being really well shot. I'm thinking I'm actually going to take it back because the use of lighting as the subway either stops at a station or as it goes through tunnels, and that's what allows Ghostface to sort of advance on Mindy. I just think it's super effective. Like, I don't think it's scary. I think it's really tense, but it's also just atmospheric.
Yeah, well, again, what you were saying earlier about, like in New York, like, things, we have it in Samara Weaving's death scene, we kind of have it in the bodega scene, but it's like, and we have it in Quinn's quote-unquote death scene, where it's like, in the city, like, people don't notice you, like, they're too concerned with their own lives, but you're screaming all the time. And so I love that we get that shot when Ghostface has the knife in Mindy's stomach, and she looks up to her left, and there's a woman just sleeping there.
Yeah. There's a really great shot even before the attack when Ghostface first starts to kind of advance towards her, where you see her panicked look when she realizes she's been pushed to the back of the car and people are either sleeping or they're immersed in their phones or something like that. Like no one is actually paying attention to anybody around her. So even though she's an arm's length away from people, it's very much that you are not safe just because you're in public.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that from the setting, I mean, I feel like you're maybe not underwhelmed, but maybe you wish they had done a bit more with the urban setting of New York City than what they have here.
Maybe just a touch. Yeah.
Just a touch, yeah. But I think for the most part, I mean, look, not to be like, well, it's better than Friday the 13th Part 8, because that's a really low bar to match. But at least they use the city to an extent. And subway set piece, and not bad. But I agree with you. I don't think it's scary, and I never for once think that the other 3 are in danger, because I'm like, well, of course Mindy's the one that's going to be in danger here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie plays it a bit Hitchcockian. You know someone's going to get it. It's just a question of who and when. And there's something delightful about that, because usually with Scream films, it's kind of like, when is Ghostface going to attack? Whereas here, it's just how long is it going to take them to attack?
Yes. And I think that's, again, if we kind of know what the end result's going to be, that's fine. Draw it out to make it tense. And this scene does that.
Yeah, because it does. It goes on for a very long time. So also, Fuck This Franchise did get a good laugh from my audience.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. Jasmine Savoy Brown, like, really, really love them. Love this character.
Yeah, honestly, they are doing great work. I really come around to this character. It's exciting that, last year we kind of got to celebrate Jenna Ortega in The Hereditaries as the MVP of the year. It was very much her and Mia Goth. And I really think that this year it's going to be Jasmine Savoy Brown. Like, they are having a fucking killer year. And I can't wait for Yellow Jackets season 2.
Oh my God, I know. Like, as of this recording, it's like, what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah. Fucking counting down the days.
I mean, honestly, I've been kind of paying attention to just, people's like reactions to this movie on social media. And it just, I'm just really happy at the warm reception this core 4 group of kids is getting. Like, even people that were on the fence with them in 5, it seems like they're being won over with this film.
And I really think it's a testament to the film saying we're going to dedicate a large chunk of this runtime to making sure that you fucking care about these four.
Yeah, and you do. You do.
Yeah, like, you know it's Mindy, and you really don't want her to die.
No, not at all. And honestly, I thought for a second, because I was like,
I thought they could. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought one of these twins was going to die.
I guess the benchmark, the thing that will tell us is usually like if you're not getting stabbed in the face like Dr. Stone, it seems like what's happening in this film is people get stabbed once and they can kind of survive. Or if they get stabbed like, how am I trying to say this? If they get stabbed like one at a time, like Gale or Mindy, then they can survive. But if they get stabbed like super repeatedly, like Sam does with Ethan, then it's like you're probably going to die from this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, there's so many. Tara should be dead. Mindy should be dead. Chad should definitely be dead.
I have my gripes. As I said, I love Mason Gooding, but when we get to that death scene, I was like, he is dead. Like, he needs to be dead.
What if the twist in 7 is that Scream 6 and Scream 7 are just like the life flashing before Chad's eyes when he's getting stabbed in Scream 5?
Oh my God. He's been dead this whole time. It's a whole movie has passed in just the flicker of his life.
And then they're like, oh, Amber and Richie weren't actually the killers. It was actually Sam the entire time.
Yeah. That'll be 7. She was the killer the whole time. Okay, so we get outside, or at least the first group gets outside of the subway. They meet up with Kirby, and this is where Sam tells Danny, I love you, but you're not Woodsboro, so you need to go. And there's that great reaction from Kirby where she is basically like, good call.
Yeah.
I do want to flag that Sam is a bit of an idiotic hypocrite because Ethan is right there. Like, they still allow Ethan to come in. He's not fucking Woodsboro.
That's true. Oh, but they want to keep an eye on him, though.
I guess.
I guess. Yeah.
I would be like, goodbye, I don't trust you.
Yeah,
or I'm going to tie you up. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So we go inside the theater. Kirby has cleared everything. This is, again, where Sam is visited by Ghost Dad, and he tells her not to trust anybody and to arm herself and do a search. So this is when she gets a call from Detective Bailey saying Kirby was fired from the FBI for being unstable, which leads her to believe that Kirby is in fact the killer, even though how would Kirby have gotten access to the FBI tracking van if she had been on leave?
Well, you can just buy a van and steal equipment.
And tracking software that can...
I will say, for a split second, I was like, oh my God, Kirby might be the killer.
Yeah.
The thing that stopped me wasn't the van. It was just the killer reveal doesn't happen without the killer's consent.
Oh, interesting. That is true. That's a Scream rule. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have never found out who a killer is before the killer told us that they were the killer.
Yeah. I agree with you, though. I did have this split second. It was kind of like where Gale pulls the mask off into, where you're like, just for that fleeting instance, you think, oh, you know what? It could be them. Like, they've been turned because of something.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Not when she pulls the mask off. When she walks through the door.
Yeah,
and then Mrs. Loomis comes in behind her. Yeah. And it really is because Ethan planted that earlier on when we were explaining the franchise rules, where he says, or, you know, one of you got fucked up from the trauma and you went on this killing spree, or you like the fame that it got you. And it's like, oh, you could definitely apply that to either Gale or Kirby in this movie. Oh my God, I know. But the killer does say that to Gale in her phone call scene, which again, I love because that's also something that so many fans have wanted to happen for a long time, where it's like, Gale should be the killer because she's making her own story.
Yeah, and she's that kind of hardcore bitch, right? Like, you could kind of see Gale do it, if only for the fact that we know Gale isn't that person after 5 or 6 movies.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so as we're learning that, ooh, Kirby could be the killer, she's not, we see Tara and Chad kiss at the concession. It's kind of the last reprieve before things get real bad because, oh shit, Tara's getting stabbed in the back right now.
Yeah. And see, okay, but here we go. This is also kind of a chase scene, even though it's still taking place in the theater.
Yeah. Even though I like this space and the concept of the shrine, I think it's really clever and fun. I was missing Wes Craven's penchant for showing us the geography because I didn't get a good sense of where people were running to and like where are the items versus where is the screen. Like I got a little confused.
Yeah, to me it's just the concession stand lobby where I'm like, wait, where is this in relation? Because I love it when they run behind the theater screen and then they're in that space behind the wall where and then Chad throws it's either Kenny's or Joel's camera at him when they're running behind.
Right. Yeah.
But I will agree with you. I still think it's a fun, tense little scene. But yeah, much like that bodega scene, I'm missing the establishment of geography and location.
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. There's some fun moments, you know, them running down the hall. I've not mentioned it yet, but I also did a lot of comparing this film to Kevin Williamson's Sick from earlier this year. So watching them run down this hallway reminded me of that film where they're running down the hallway and they like hit the wall and have to turn really quickly and killer's right behind them. Chad's line of beheadings is very funny.
Oh, yeah. It's so fast. Beheadings!
And then this is the reveal that we have not one, but two Ghostface because we end up in the wrong place at the wrong time and Chad is sadly taken out, or at least it would seem. And I do love that moment where the two Ghostface wipe the blade. It's great.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so cool.
You're just like, I should not like this, but it looks fucking great.
No, it's the blade swipe at this point is like, it has to be in a Scream film. But yeah, watching two of them do it at this in unison. It's like beautiful choreography.
It is. It's so true. So Sam and Tara are basically backed up against each other. This is when Sam tells Tara, like, you need to be ready to fight. I need you to, like, basically get your shit ready for this. So we grab bricks that are lying there and then...
Come on, motherfucker!
We're saying the word motherfucker a ton in this movie.
We say cocksucker. Wait, no, sorry, cock blocking, not cocksucker. Oh my God.
Cock. Stop saying cock.
Stop saying cock.
Yeah, and then we have Kirby and Detective Bailey sort of like run into this mix and we're pointing fingers and who is the killer? Lo and behold, it's Detective Bailey. He shoots Kirby a bunch of times. And while I don't love Dermot Mulroney in this, I do like his kind of resigned, yeah, me.
No. He goes, of course it's me. Okay, so here's the thing. Walking out the first time, this, to me, the killer reveal was my biggest issue with the film. I didn't hate it. I was just very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
We're very much doing Scream 2. Dermot Mulroney is Mrs. Loomis, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, God. Right down to the line of, like, there's a special bond between a father and his first son. I was like, holy shit, we are just cribbing lines straight from Scream 2
Okay,
here.
but then we cut to Ethan. It was his second son, which I fucking love.
I did think that.
I will say, each time I've watched this ending goes down a lot easier for me. But I will say, while the killer reveal itself is still one of my weakest parts of the film, and because we have three of them, we're splitting the kids don't really have I wanted Leanna Liberato. I mean, even though watching her teeth get knocked out, like a lot of that's really fun, but I wanted more batshit insanity from the kids.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem with having three killers, right?
Yes.
Is normally we have kind of like a principal killer, which was like Richie or Miss Loomis. And then we've got a kind of secondary person who maybe gets taken care of a little bit earlier so that we can give the stage to the main one, right? And with three, we basically have to do it to two of them. So even though we don't really get rid of Ethan or Quinn all that quickly, they don't get that moment. Like they get this, you know, like, shut your whore mouth and that kind of stuff. Or I always wanted to put something in you, Tara. Like, it's good, but it's not enough moments for them.
Well, and that's just a direct callback to Stu's line where it's like, I always had a thing for you, Sid.
Yeah, 100%.
But I will say that because again, I'm like, the ending, I'm focusing on the killers. But what makes this third act so great, and I do think it's a great third act now, is everything going on with Tara and Sam. I love all the things they get to do and say. I mean, God, fucking Sam being Richie was a limp-dicked little fuck.
Who cried before I slit his throat.
Again, we're just doing the Sidney, like, I fucking killed him. I get that's what we are doing, but everything that these two girls, and again, I know we're paying off the whole, like, you have to let me go, Sam, blah, 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 blah. All of this really works for me, even if the killer reveal itself. And honestly, though, on a rewatch, Dermot Mulroney does get a lot of little, they're not like big showy things like what Mrs. Loomis gets to do in Scream 2, but there are just little line deliveries where I'm like, oh, he's having a really fun time.
Okay. I love that you have this perspective because I'm definitely still on the, it's okay. It's not great. I wish he was a little bit bigger and broader with it. Right. So I'm happy to hear that you having the vantage point of having seen it a couple more times, you're usually a little bit more optimistic than me. But
that's fine.
It feels like maybe I'll get to your point soon or eventually.
Or not, which is also okay.
Yeah. I think it's just, there is something so captivating about getting to that killer monologue, right?
Oh,
like fucking Mindy herself says, oh, did I miss it again? Because we know that that's also a quintessential moment in a Scream film, right? This is when we seed the stage and we give it to this person and they get to go on their big, wild, crazy rant. And yes, I'm using crazy because often these people are incredibly mentally unstable.
Yeah, they're actually crazy.
And yeah, it was hard for me not to compare this, not just to Mrs. Loomis in Scream 2, because it is so similar in terms of motivation.
Yeah.
But I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. This also feels very, very similar to Sick from just a couple of months ago. So I kind of felt like I had seen this motivation, this reveal before, right? Because that was 3 family members whose first son had died, and they were blaming the person and saying, now you've got to pay.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And both Kevin Williamson co-wrote Sick, and Kevin Williamson's an EP on this film.
Yeah.
Your similarities are 100% valid and correct. It doesn't really. I'm not gonna
you can't say it because you've already used it.
No, I'm not gonna say it, but I'm saying like I don't see an issue with that because again, that to me is not really the film's problem. More so, it is that it's your problem. Because you're seeing 2 films that admittedly came out very close to each other in a very similar proximity to each other. So
yeah, and it's not as though they're in conversation. So it would be the same as if I just watched Scream 2 yesterday and then I go and watch this and it's like, oh, they're so similar. It's like, yes.
You know what? I don't remember if you felt this way about Scream 2. So when I first saw the Scream films, again, I was 13 years old, Scream 2 was my least favorite ending and killer reveal. I was like that because I didn't like the Mrs. Loomis of it all because I thought it was dumb because I felt cheated because I was like, oh, like she hasn't been playing herself. She wasn't really a character in the film, blah, 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 blah. And I remember, but of course now it's like one of my favorite endings of the franchise. And so again, it's one of those things where I feel like I kind of feel similarly about this. But again, it's not the killer stuff that is like shining for me in this third act. It is the stuff with Sam and Tara, but I am appreciating Mulroney's I'm gonna say unhinged performance, but it's like a subdued unhinged performance.
Yeah, I mean, he's very grief-stricken and he's a very family-oriented person, right? Like literally, he's recruited his 2 remaining children to be serial killers with him. It's an interesting motivation, even if it's not particularly new or novel.
Right.
Do I wish he had the opportunity to play it a little bit bigger? Yes. That's not what we get. So I can only take that at face value. Yeah, let's shift to Sam and Tara because obviously our final girls, they're very much in play in this entire thing. And it's a lot of exciting moments, right? Like we get to see Stan go stab Happy on Ethan.
Oh, yeah.
It's really satisfying. We get to see Tara after she finally convinces Sam to let her go. Honestly, I think this is the most brutal death in this entire movie. Well, it should be a death.
Well, it's not a death.
Ethan survives, but
but die a fucking virgin.
Yeah. Applause throughout the theater for that one because it is great. It's also like we're loving to stick a knife in people and twist in this movie, but we haven't done it with somebody's mouth before.
I will say, I mean, this is a bit before, but so Kirby gets stabbed again with the knife that stabbed her, that Charlie stabbed her with.
Yep.
I love, it's really stupid for Melissa Barrera to pull that out. Like, don't pull out a knife.
I know. She was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to need this.
But Kirby's, fuck him up. I loved that too. That always got a big reaction in all of my screenings.
Oof, yeah. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Also, yeah, as enjoyable as Quinn has been in her brief screen time, there is something kind of satisfying about the fact that like we don't even try to fight her. Sam just shoots her straight in the head,
point blank. And again, she's the one that I would be because out of the 3 killers, she's the character I like the most pre-killer reveal.
Okay,
so I wish she had something to match that in post-killer reveal, which we just don't have because again, we're splitting time between 3 fucking killers.
Yeah. And the reality is like, this isn't a huge space. Like, I would argue this is probably a little bit bigger than the stage that Sidney is on in Scream 2.
Yeah.
So with 3 killers on the run, we do need to get rid of at least one to make it believable that they wouldn't just herd everybody up and kill them.
Oh, I also... because we haven't mentioned the whole time that this is going on, Richie's fan films are playing on the theater screen.
Indeed, yes.
I catch more of the bits of dialogue on rewatches, but it's just so funny to hear him redo
garbage shit recreation.
So bad.
I do enjoy Detective Bailey saying, you know, like, they were always just a little too violent for me.
But he really loved him. Oh my God, I know. Oh, sorry. So she shoots Quinn in the head. And I love the shot, though, because Quinn falls and Bailey is right behind her.
Yep.
And Sam's just like, 2 more kids gone. And, you know, she tries to pull the trigger, no bullets. And she's like, oh, fuck. And then she just fucking charges at this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting directorial choice to have them go over this banister. We very clearly see that Sam just lands on the ground, whereas Detective Bailey goes into a glass case. I kind of thought that we were going to reveal that he had been like severely punctured and that would kind of be the end of him. But instead, we actually cut to black. And then we switch, and all of a sudden now we're following Detective Bailey's perspective for a hot moment as Sam, you know, puts on the costume and puts on her dad's mask. And it's an interesting subversion because obviously we've seen Sidney do this kind of thing in the first film. But I think this is a very satisfying payoff to all of Sam's kind of baggage that she's been dealing with, where I like the way it felt and I'm worried because I'm still seeing my dad and he's encouraging me to kill people. Watching her give in to this, like she goes fucking stab happy on Bailey, and then she pauses because Tara comes in, and Tara has been like, girl, what's your problem throughout this entire movie? But
I truly believe in the moment that she says, I'm better than that, that is, even though she does kill him, it is a moment where she's like, I have the power to say no to this. I can
control myself if I need to.
Yes. But it's not even a spoken word of dialogue, but Tara just like cocks her head.
Like, finish this motherfucker off.
Right in the eye, too.
Ooh, it is good. Like, Radio Silence is actually really good at knowing how long to hold on some of this violence. Like, Annika's, we kind of linger on that destroyed face, and it's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, you just need to know that she got it in his eye, and you wince, and then we're cutting.
Also, right before she said another good Mulroney moment when she says, like, I'm better than that. And he just goes, thank you. He's like crying.
What a prick.
It's so funny.
Okay, so hypothetically, everybody is dead. Of course, we have timed this to the end of Richie's movie, so we see written and directed by Richie as the girls sit down on the edge of the stage. And then this is when Ethan comes back for one last scare, and he is killed by the TV from Stumacher's house.
Okay, so every time I've watched this, Kirby's line, I saw that in a scary movie once. Love it. So fun.
It's okay.
But so, the shot of the TV flying on Ethan's head is... I don't understand the physics of it.
It makes no sense at all. I don't even know how she would have done it from the direction she's in.
It doesn't make any sense. Because do you remember in Mean Girls, whenever they're doing the Jingle Bell Rock dance and...
Right.
Because the players start skipping and so she runs up and her foot lightly taps it and then it just shoots out into the audience and hits that kid in the face.
It's
That's
basically
what this is.
It's a physics-defying TV, yes.
But I'm glad that Kirby, she's alive. Kirby is officially alive at the end of this movie and she gets one little last stinger line. And, you know, her telling Sam and Tara, we're a fucked up family now. Good.
Yeah, and legacy doesn't have to be a bad thing. We get confirmation from Danny, who arrives with the cops, that both Mindy and Gail are still alive. Mindy is en route because she couldn't not come. We also learn that Chad has... I appreciate that the film addresses, like, how are you alive? but it doesn't satisfy me because honestly, I really do. I love Mason Gooding. I've said it multiple times. I think we should have killed this character.
So he is either going to die in that 7th movie or he will be the only survivor of that 7th movie.
Clearly, he is more impervious to knife wounds than any other character who is still around because he has gotten it super bad in back-to-back films.
It is so funny. And so, I mean, this is 100% completely unbelievable. I could maybe make excuses for his attack in 5. Mm-hmm. This makes no fucking sense. I'm like, no, but they're doing the Dewey thing. I get it, but it's fine.
I mean, I was listening to Mike Munter's Scream spinoff, the guy who does Evolution of Horror. I was listening to his Scream series, and one of his co-hosts, I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name, but she was like, yes, Scream 5, the only film where you can get stabbed in the gut and then just like walk it off for the end credits. Because that is literally what happens. Like, Mindy got stabbed in the gut and she's just running up in the end of this. Tara got stabbed in the gut and she's just running like, we're just walking off these like knife wounds that, I mean, they won't kill you immediately, but you would need to go to the hospital.
But even in 5, because Nev Campbell gets stabbed in the gut in 5 and in 4 several times.
Yeah. Yeah, you absolutely have to suspend your disbelief, but it is wild that these people are constantly just saying, yeah, I just got a little medical bandage and now I'm good to go.
I saw someone, they were tweeting on Letterboxd. They were in their Letterboxd review. They were like, I really need in the next film of this franchise for people not to act like they have bad menstrual cramps whenever they get stabbed in the gut and the knife twists.
It's so true. It's so true. But yeah, so we end this film, Trace, with 12 deaths, many of them inconsequential, as well as the 3 villains, and 7 survivors.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just, it's kind of wild statistics. Yeah. And also it very much proves that Mindy's thing about like bigger budget, bigger cast, bigger set pieces and chase sequences, and also death counts. I was like, well, girl, you got it mostly wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing where he's like, I don't want any of these characters to die, but
yeah. We're going to have to kill at least one of them in the next movie.
Yeah. And maybe if there were only 3, like in the original trilogy, it wouldn't be as egregious, but there's 4 of them. So, yeah, it's not even a factor of my critique into the film that they all survive, but it's more so kind of a like, ooh, but like you do play it a little bit safe movie, despite the fact that you are very brutal.
It feels like we're still... Coasting is the wrong word, but we're still on the high of having killed off Dewey as a legacy character, someone everyone was so invested in. I appreciate that we spend a bunch of time making people fall in love with these new characters, so we don't necessarily want to undo that, especially when it's like, oh, we spent the movie building up Chad and Tara's romance. We don't want to just kill him. But also, there weren't a lot of stakes in this movie in terms of the people you love being in true danger, and that will have to be addressed next movie.
Well, I think in hindsight, there were no stakes in this movie because I do think...
At the time, you think Mindy and Gale are probably goners.
Yeah, and honestly, I think you might even think Kirby might be dead by the end of this film at a certain point. But like, yeah. So it's like, in the moment on a first watch, I think it's all very effective. But yet in hindsight, you're like, oh yeah, you did kind of play it pretty safe, Scream 6. But...
Okay, so that's the end of the movie. We have Demi Lovato and her great song kind of taking us to the credits.
I like that song a lot.
I like it a lot. And that video is fun as well. She looks great.
I miss the days of doing movie music videos with clips from the movie ingrained into it.
Right? You sent this to me and I started to watch it and was like, Trace, I'm trying to not be spoiled. There's too many scenes from the movie. And
it just brought me back to a time that I was like, we were all so innocent back then.
Ah, yes. I think you're referring to the 90s, which was 30 years ago now.
God, 30 years ago. But yes, and everyone, if you did not stay for the post-credits quote-unquote scene, there is a post-credits scene in this movie.
Okay, what is it?
Mindy just goes, not every movie needs a post-credits scene.
What does she know? She's so high right now.
It's so funny. But yeah, okay, so before we go into predictions of 7, Joe, final thoughts on 6. Has your opinion changed after this discussion at all?
I mean, I've learned that I'm always kind of hypercritical because I often have opinions, very strong opinions about what I would like the new film to do. And I feel like I'm getting better at addressing that. I will say, folks, I think I said this with 5 as well. If you've only seen it the one time, I do encourage you to watch it again because it always just goes down a little bit more smoothly when you know what the film is actually going to do as opposed to what you want it to do. Yes, this is true of most films, but particularly if you're like Trace and I, where you have a lot wrapped up in the franchise, sometimes you got to watch it and be like, okay. And now I'm going to watch it again and appreciate what it's actually doing.
I think it's also, and tell me, I'm going to try to explain this, something that makes sense to me. So like, it's like, okay, when 4 comes out, okay, cool. Ooh, that's the last Scream we're ever going to get for a long time. And so when 5 is coming out 11 years later, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, it is now going to undo the 11 years of closure I've had with these characters and fuck it up a little bit, which it does. Honestly, my biggest gripe with 5 is that I wish Judy had more anything before she died.
Sure.
But it's a thing where it's like, okay, and even with 5, we didn't know for a fact if we were going to get a sequel. So while this is also changing the ending that I've had for this franchise for 11 years, it might also give me a new ending that this will be it.
Right.
With this one, I mean...
Not so much. This time we know, it's probably going to be fine. We're most likely going to get a 7th one.
And that's where, though, in Mindy's speech about the rules, so the most accurate thing about her statement was where she goes, we're not in, like, sequel territory. We're in just a sequel. We're in an episodic installment. So it's like a TV show that we're just watching. Oh, yeah, the next one, the next one. So that, to me, makes this easier to go down because, again, my gripe is, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense, but the characters, where the fuck are Sam and Tara's moms? I feel like we're going to get that in the next film.
Right. Yeah, and the good thing is like the movies are making money now. Like whereas 3 and 4 were iffy, like particularly 4, hence the dormant period. But 5 and 6 are making so much bank that it's like a guarantee that it's not going to be 11 years before we try to reboot this IP. It's going to be, are we going to give this in a year or is it going to be 2?
Yeah, I mean, so 5 made worldwide $137 million on a $24 million budget. And that was during the Omicron surge of COVID. So like...
Exactly. Which is why I think they were a little bit generous with it. Because like, that's good money, but that's also like a little closer to 3 than say 1 or 2.
Yeah, well, especially taking into inflation into account. Like it probably made like half of the attendance of what 3 probably had. But I mean, 81 million domestic though on a $24 million budget. It's
pretty good.
Yeah, you've tripled your budget and then some.
Exactly.
Whereas again, y'all, as of the Saturday for this, it made across Thursday night screenings and Friday, it made $19.3 million. Looking at a likely $40+ million weekend on a $35 million budget.
Which is nearly 10 million above the previous highest entry, which was Scream 3.
Yeah, because I think Scream 3 had 34 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. Do you want to hear my casting for the mom?
I do, because I don't have anything in mind, so I want you to blow my mind.
Okay. I cannot take credit for one of these. So one of these is credited to former guest of the show, Nick Wallen, Nick Says Boo, who was on our Adam Selling Value episode. But his first one was Patricia Velasquez.
Ooh, and she hasn't been doing much, so it'd be great to see her again.
Yeah, the last thing I saw her in was The Curse of La Llorona. Patricia Velasquez is Anaxuna Moon from the Mummy movies.
Oh my god, Curse of La Llorona. Go back and re-listen to that episode.
Yeah. What about Judy Reyes?
Oh. That would be interesting because if Judy Reyes shows up, are you immediately like, well, she's the fucking killer?
Okay, but here's
because
the thing.
I love her, but she has that face on her, right? Where you're like, oh, she's going to be a tough mom, but also you could see her killing people.
Well, but here's the thing, though. So do you think Seven's going to go the route where we have their mom in the movie as a character, but we don't know it's the mom? Or is she going to be a character and we're like, oh, yeah, this is her mom, like from the get-go, because she's going to be interacting with her daughters?
I mean, this is the tricky thing, right? Like, one of the things that I really enjoyed about these last 2 films is that we've actually got people with a skin tone darker than mayonnaise in the cast. But it's still at the point where if you cast any kind of, like, Latino, slightly darker skinned woman, you're going to be like, that's Sam and Tara's mom.
Yeah.
So we either need a couple of them or we need to acknowledge, like that's who that woman is.
Well, we also don't have Tara's dad. We don't know who that is, and he could easily be a white man.
That is also true. Yeah.
The mom has to be the one who's Latina. But yeah, but plot-wise, like, do we think we're going to do Scream 3 again? We're going to go back to the beginning and like something's like going to be different. I hope if that's the case, which I'm fine with, I hope it's handled a little bit better than how Roman Bridger's stuff is handled in Scream 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most dangerous thing from Scream 3 was when they tried to retcon so much things, and it felt like, oh, this dude is the mastermind behind the 2 previous films? That seems unlikely. I didn't mind the idea of like, we're going back to the beginning and like we're unraveling things that have dramatically affected the story. I'm in favor of that, and I feel like we've been teasing this complicated family history at the same time. Having said that, like, I do think that would kind of be my preferred way to go because I think it could be really interesting. Or we could go the Neil Prescott route where it's just like, oh yeah, we talk about him, he shows up, but also he has no bearing on these films.
Or, okay, so here's something. So let's say the mom's the killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not in the movie until the killer reveal.
Have they ever done that?
No. There has never been a time where the killer is not someone who... And the closest is Mrs. Loomis, but it's because we didn't know who she was at the time. But that, to me, I think it would be really frustrating on a first watch because you're like, who's this character? But honestly, that's a really good subversion of the trope to be like, oh, you think it's this person? Like, well, what if we never even announce... Assuming the mother's the killer, let's just say that.
Okay.
We never announce the mother's casting in the pre-release or the marketing for this film. So you literally have no idea.
You don't even know she's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, if the franchise is interested in continuing to try to subvert expectations, like kind of what we did with this opening, for better or worse, there's obviously still some interest to playing around with the formula, like the Scream formula. So I could see them trying that. I do think it would be a rough first watch to just say, take off the cowl and, hey, it's a character you haven't seen this entire movie. That would be surprising.
Yeah. But
I mean, the other interesting thing is like Scream is infamous for having its extended sort of last act climax. So if you could reveal that early and then have like enough time where you could actually have like Sam and Tara interact with her so that it would feel like a satisfying payoff, because it would suck to have this character be revealed and it's like, Mom?
Yeah.
That would be disappointing.
Yeah. So that's like, I don't want to say I truly have no idea where this is going to go next, but I am very excited because, again, like, whereas 5, I was like, oh, it feels like Scream, but it doesn't feel like Scream, but it does feel like Scream. Like, this feels so much more part of the franchise to me.
Okay, so question for you then. Sticking with the mom is the killer or some other sort of derivation, would you be okay if we went back down to like 1 killer? Because it feels like 3 was this novel experiment, but then already we're seeing people complain, well, these 2 kids didn't get much to do. It didn't give them enough screen time and so on. Like, would it be better to dial that back so you can just give the central focus to 1 big reveal?
I don't like the idea of 1 killer. Also, I think it makes it more fun to have 2 killers because then it's like, it broadens your suspect list, right? So it's like you can never really truly be sure. Because, you're like, oh, like, this person couldn't be the killer because they're in the room when the killer attacks. Like, I think you need to have 2 killers to at least have that be more fun as part of the mystery of it. But 3 killers in this one does feel like too much.
Right. I would like to see the thing that I proposed that I feel like you didn't fully understand what I was suggesting when we did our kind of like re-look at Scream 5.
Okay.
I think it'd be interesting to have one of the killers unmasked at the midway point.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could still obviously have the killings continue and then be like, okay, we got 1, but there's still someone else out there. But that would sort of diffuse it where you could have both of those people get their moment in the sun and then the movie continues.
I see what you mean by that now. And yes, I was going to say, because they kind of do that in the beginning of this one when we unmask Tony Ravioli. Exactly. but it's not the same. It's not the same thing. And I get it.
Yeah. Like, give us enough time so that we actually care when you take off the mask.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I will welcome any kind of change, because that's what I was saying earlier, right? This isn't just horror movie formula. This is Scream-specific formula by this point.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Okay, well, I feel like we should turn it over to listeners and let them tell us what they would like to see in a 7th. Do you want to see more killers, less killers? Would you like to see a mid-movie reveal? Do you want to see Sam and Tara's mom? Do you want it to circle all the way back to the beginning like Scream 3? Would you like to see the Stab musical that was teased in the posters and never given to us?
Oh, I still want to see more clips from Stab 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
Or 4 and 5 are the only ones we haven't seen anything from.
I appreciate that they're like not interested in exploring the connections to Stab all the time, but also those are just lying out there. Please give them to us.
Yeah. Oh, I guess last question before we kind of like wrap it up. Do we think it's going to stay in a New York City setting, or are we going to move to a different area? And if it is a new area, are we going back to Woodsboro? Are we going to somewhere else? I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Let's not go back to Woodsboro. I really did enjoy shifting the location to New York. I do think they could have done just a little bit more with it, but I think it opened it up, even if we're just talking about like, what are the 2 most memorable sequences from this film going to be? It's the subway and the ladder.
Yeah.
And those are both specifically kind of big city set pieces. So I think it just opens up new opportunities to explore exciting set pieces and deaths and that kind of stuff. So I kind of hope if it's not New York, because also it's New York, we've seen New York a billion times.
Yeah.
I do think it would be interesting to stay in a big city.
Ooh, give me an elevator shaft sequence.
Ooh.
But, all right. Yes, everyone, let us know. What did you think of Scream 6? Are you on the page with us? Do you think we were too forgiving of this film? Or do you think we nitpicked too much with this film? I truly don't know.
Are you not bothered by it?
Are you not bothered by it? Or did you just have a lot of fucking fun seeing this 5 times in a weekend?
Right. Yeah. Tell us about your theater going experiences. What were people responding to?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, so that is Scream 6. And still to come this month, we have one more episode.
Actually, sorry. Wait, one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't do updated rankings.
Oh, okay. So before I say the ranking, I will say, while I prefer Scream 6 as a whole over Scream 4, I do prefer the third act of Scream 4 to Scream 6's third act.
Okay, agreed. Yes.
But my ranking is 2, 1, 6, 4, 5, 3.
Okay. And mine is 2, 1, 4, tie between 5 and 6, and then 3.
Interesting. Yeah, no, see, mine is, I'm very clear. I like 6 more than 5, like hands down.
Okay. I can see it. Yeah.
Man. Okay. So.
Okay.
I'll call. But until then, we can cross out Scream 6.
Indeed. And cross out horror queers.